And again, Trump got lied to about that. Not just by Fauci, but by Pfizer, the drug company.
In what way?
What's going on, folks? We have a great show for you today. So Peter Navarro, one of Trump's advisors during the COVID-19 quote-unquote pandemic, went on Valuetainment to talk about how he thinks that Fauci tricked Trump and how Peter Navarro never liked Fauci from the beginning.
Okay,
Literally don't even know who Fauci is.
Didn't know who he was, didn't know he walked on water.
Wow.
Didn't know he killed tens of thousands of people during the AIDS epidemic and got away with it. That's another story.
Next, we're going to briefly cover an apparent psychotic New York court that is giving this woman, Jean Carroll, $5 million in damages. The Trump drama with left-wing media and politicians never ends, and this one might be one of the worst.
You know, well, I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
Lastly, we're going to cover E-Verify, something that Congress is trying to pass through, a debate between Thomas Massie and Jack Posobiec about it, Donald Trump on CNN Wednesday night, some of his comments about the town hall he's doing, as well as Steve Cortez, one of my favorite people in the Trump administration, to be honest, one of the only people that I really trusted and liked and followed. He came out recently and endorsed DeSantis, which has a lot of Trump loyalists freaking out. We'll talk about it all. God bless you. The show starts now.
It's the Dream Rare Podcast. Welcome to the show. The way to get the news at the desk or on the road. Let's go. God is great and success in our control. The world is crazy, but we get better from obstacles.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of the Dream Rare Podcast. I have a lot of stories to talk about. The first one, we're going to go through a few clips of Peter Navarro, one of Trump's only trustworthy people around him during the pandemic, advisors of such, talking about Fauci, his relationship with him, and how he thinks that Trump was tricked by Pfizer and Fauci. It's an interesting story. As I was crafting this story, I found out that Jean Carroll has apparently won part of her lawsuit against Donald Trump, and she's been awarded $5 million. And, you know, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this without getting defamed by this lady, but let's just say she seems crazy, and this ruling seems crazy. We're going to talk about that, but I'm afraid of getting sued by her, because if Trump could get sued by her, then anybody can. I mean, this lady's on television looking like wild. Here, I'll just play a clip of her real quick, just to show you what I'm talking about. Like,
Don't feel like a victim.
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished, which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual.
Like what? Hold on. I'm going to play another one real quick.
You know,
Well, I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Am I allowed to say this lady seems insane? Because she does, but somehow she won a court case. We'll talk about that later. I just had to play that because the lady creeps me out. But anyway, first one's about Peter Navarro. Then there's going to be more stories about Steve Cortez endorsing DeSantis, who worked in the Trump administration. Also, Trump's town hall on Wednesday. He made an interesting post about it. And a few other stories. E-Verify, Thomas Massie's been talking about it. But let's get into the first story, which is Peter Navarro went on Valuetainment, which is Patrick Bet-David's podcast and media company. And he really revealed what he was seeing during the pandemic behind the scenes. I think it's worth watching, and I chopped it into 9 clips. So let's watch the first one.
I walk in there. I don't know any of these people from outside the White House, right? So who there?
Else was in that room?
Redfield from CDC and Fauci from NIH, right?
So this was one of Trump's good advisors. A lot of people always talk about the bad ones, right? And I think like the common excuse for why certain things happen is like Trump had bad advisors. He was advised bad. You know, one of the good ones or the better ones was Peter Navarro, who apparently did not get his way. But let's keep watching.
Okay.
Literally don't even know who Fauci
Didn't know who he was. Didn't know he walked on water.
Wow.
Didn't know he killed tens of thousands of people during the AIDS epidemic and got away with it. That's another story.
Imagine how differently 2020 would have been if they listened to Peter Navarro instead of Fauci. That would have been fascinating. Or put Peter Navarro at the head of HHS and FDA instead of pharmacy lobbyists. That would have been good too. But this guy was just in the meetings. Let's take a listen.
don't know who he is. But, it's like somebody walks in here and sits down here. You don't know who he is, and you start interviewing him. What do? You take their measure, right? And my measure of Fauci was, this dude thinks he's a whole lot smarter than he is, and he's an arrogant son of a bitch.
Whoa, sorry if you have kids watching. He's like, my first thought about Fauci was he was an arrogant son of a snitch, as they say. Let's keep watching.
That I'm going to plaster to the entire task force and broad chain that says that if we don't do this, this virus is capable of killing 500,000 Americans and costing us trillions of dollars.
So I'm going to play more and then I'll do my reaction at the end, but this is part of the PBD podcast. I'm just chopping it up in clips. I thought it was a newsworthy story. You could watch the full thing. I think it's worth a watch, but let's keep going.
January 28, 2020. And that's about the best memo I probably ever written because it was spot on. And here's the punchline. Fauci, when he was sitting there.
Okay. What was he doing when he was sitting there? Let's see.
That SOB knew for a fact that virus came from the Wuhan lab. He knew that because he had funded the gain-of-function research in that lab, and he had already begun to design a cover-up.
Could you imagine if this guy had actual power? Like, these are the type of people that I would like to see in higher power positions, not Alex Azar and Scott Gottlieb, but let's move on.
And we know that from the emails he sent to a group of researchers, academics, trying to get their support to push that come from nature theory. And that's the biggest lie of omission in American history.
Bold words. Let's watch 2 more clips and then I'll react to it real quick.
If he had simply owned up to the fact that thing came from the lab, we could have pressured the Chinese to give us the genome sequence, which would have allowed us to design an effective vaccine rather than the crap we wound up getting.
So he calls the vaccines that Trump is praising that they're saving the world and everything, he calls them crap and says the reason that we didn't get good ones is because he thinks Fauci covered it up and we couldn't get the proper genome for the right vaccine. It's interesting, before I play the last clip, that these people never suggest that they should just leave us alone. Like even Peter Navarro, it's like, oh, we could have got you a better one. It's like, here's a crazy idea. How about you just leave us the hell alone and you and your pharma friends can do whatever they want? I know it's not Peter Navarro's fault, but it's like, oh, we could have got you a better vaccine. It's like, why do you have to stick a pharmacy product in me? Why can't you just leave me alone and let my immune system work? Now, never crossed your mind either, but whatever. All right, last one's the most crucial. Let's watch.
And again, Trump got lied to about that, not just by Fauci, but by Pfizer, the drug company.
In what way?
They didn't disclose the side effects of that. And they weren't clear with him. They made him think that it was a true vaccine when it's not.
So he said that Trump got tricked by Fauci and Pfizer and that they didn't disclose the side effects. So this is the running theory from Peter Navarro, who knows Trump pretty well, and other people that, Trump is just lying. He just got lied to. But yet everybody has figured it out except for him, who continuously, the first part of this clip is from 2023. He's still lying about it. And the second part is from his Candace Owens interview, where he says some of the most pathological, ridiculous lies about the product that Peter Navarro and everybody with half a brain knows aren't true. But let's watch the clip real quick before we respond.
Will you acknowledge now, though, that the COVID-19 vaccines were not as safe or effective as we were told by the medical community at the time?
What I did, I was able to get something approved that, has proven to save a lot of lives. Some people say I saved 100 million lives worldwide.
The vaccine is one of the greatest achievements of mankind. The vaccine is one of the greatest achievements of mankind. The vaccine is one of the greatest achievements of mankind.
So Peter Navarro calls the vaccine crap and said Trump got lied to, and Trump continuously, still to this day, lies about it and calls it some sort of massive world saver that saved 100 million lives. It's just fascinating. I'll say this real quick. Before I do give my opinion, I do want to read this article. It's from July 2020. July, not March 2020, not April, not May, not June, July. There was a lot of time to learn the truth. A lot of people learned it in April and May. So in my opinion, no excuse. But I just want to show you guys. Trump rebukes aide Navarro for attacking Fauci. So this was one of Trump's only good aides. And Navarro is trying to tell him that Fauci sucked. And I'm just going to read this report. President Donald Trump issued a rare rebuke of his senior advisor, Peter Navarro, on Wednesday, saying Navarro should not have written a scathing opinion piece about Anthony Fauci, a top government coronavirus expert who is hugely popular. Navarro, a trade advisor who at times has expanded his reach with Trump in the White House, launched an attack on Fauci in an article for USA Today. Dr. Anthony Fauci has a good bedside manner with the public, but he has been wrong about everything I've interacted with him on, Navarro wrote. The initial lack of pushback from the White House for the article fed a belief that Navarro's article was supported at top levels of the White House. But departing for a trip for Atlanta, Trump was asked about whether Navarro had gone rogue. And Trump said this, "Well, he made a statement representing himself. He shouldn't be doing that. No, I have a very good relationship with Anthony," Trump said. A White House official said Trump did not endorse Navarro's op-ed that Navarro was told to explicitly in recent days to de-escalate the situation. The official said that the White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, is fully engaged on the matter and that Meadows thought Navarro's article was unacceptable. "We're all on the same team, including Fauci," Trump said. "We all want to get rid of this mess." So this was in July. Peter Navarro was trying to tell Trump, Fauci's lying to the America, Fauci's lying. And that was Trump's response, was basically, "Shut up. We're all on the same team. Fauci, I'm friends with him." That's what happens, I guess, when you tell Trump the truth as an advisor. He sides with the demons and then cries victim and still to this day lies. I don't know. I just find it interesting, but let me know what you guys think. I'm going to move on. There's a few stories. Peter Navarro, one of Trump's only semi-good aides, said that Fauci and Pfizer lied to Trump, yet this is my question that I truly have for everybody else. If Fauci and Pfizer lied to Trump, if Peter Navarro really thinks the vaccine's crap, yet Donald Trump still to this day is probably going to go on CNN this week and brag about his vaccine. He lies about it pathologically more than even Bill Gates. Trump won't admit anything's wrong with it. He just says it saved the world. It's a great human achievement, 100 million lives. Like, Trump is a pathological, lying, big pharma sleazeball for Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson. Everybody around him knows that he's lying, yet he keeps lying. Why shouldn't I challenge this guy? I don't understand. And to Peter Navarro, who says that we needed the genome from China in order to get a better vaccine, honestly, I would like to challenge Peter Navarro on that, because as much as I like what he said, I appreciate him challenging Trump. What do you mean by that? Are you suggesting we got the wrong genome for the COVID vaccine? I don't know if I really believe you. It's like, are you saying that if we would have got the right genome, the vaccine would have worked amazingly? Like, this is the best the controlled opposition Republicans can do? It's like, no, not this vaccine, this mRNA vaccine. Bro, you can get 17 vaccines, call it the Trump vaccine, call it the Fauci vaccine, call it the Peter Navarro proper genome vaccine, but leave me the hell alone. And nothing about what they did was good. I don't need to inject myself 3 times with the proper or improper genome. I have an immune system and I trust my body. Get the hell out of here. But whatever. I mean, that's his opinion. He's entitled to it. Thanks for Peter Navarro for going on PBD podcast, and feel free to listen to the whole thing. Second story I want to talk about is this lady who, I'm not even going to say I'm nervous, but if she won this defamation lawsuit against Trump, God knows what they could do in this New York court, because this lady seems cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, said an anonymous source, friend of mine that's named Panomaly. Rhymes with anomaly. But here's a refresher of who E. Jean Carroll is, who just won a lawsuit against Trump, or some sort of settlement. Let's look.
Don't feel like a victim.
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished, which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt.
So rape doesn't mean sexual? I think even Anderson Cooper thinks she's a little weird, and just watch.
You know,
But I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
Anderson Cooper can't even stop laughing at this lady because she's so weird. She's like, most people think rape is sex. What is she talking about? Anderson Cooper. And then she's like, you're interesting to look at, talk to. It's like, what? Dude, this lady seems cuckoo. With that being said, this is what happens in New York courts, apparently. Let me just read the article. So this is according to New York Times. The jury also examined Ms. Carroll's defamation claims stemming from a 2022 post on Truth Social, in which Mr. Trump called Ms. Carroll's case a complete con job and a hoax and a lie. The jurors have decided if Mr. Trump knew what he was saying was false, but said it anyway to meet a standard known as actual malice. Should the jurors find Mr. Trump liable for defamation, they will also assess what, if any, additional damages are awarded to Ms. Carroll. The jury awarded Ms. Carroll 79, a total of $5 million in damages. Although more than a dozen women have accused Mr. Trump of sexual conduct over the years, allegations he has always denied, Ms. Carroll's case is the first such claim to be successfully tested before a jury. The jury's unanimous verdicts came after 3 hours of deliberation in a federal court in Manhattan. Its findings are civil, not criminal, meaning Mr. Trump has not been convicted of any crime and faces no prison time. So if you read the whole report, I believe one of the accusations was for some sort of actual sexual assault, yet the lady seems to think that like rape is like being sexy and like it's just a feeling, and it's like, what? Really sad. I mean, it's really, really sad. I don't agree with the court ruling. This lady seems insane to me, if I'm even allowed to say this without, getting to like a lawsuit. And that's just my American opinion. And with that being said, the left is really good. And they're genius, evil genius. I'm not saying they're good people, but it's like evil genius strategy of how they constantly control the right by forcing the right into defense mode. It's like if they can keep these personal, allegations and lawsuits and settlements just revolving around Trump for years, then it's just completely neutralizing the right wing. Why should you accomplish anything if you're in defense mode? You get what I'm saying? Republicans are never metaphorically in attack because they're always defending against these allegations. So if I came along and was like, yo, I think he's lying about the vaccine, it's like, whoa, we can't talk about that now. EJ and Carroll just sued him, or we have to vote for Trump now because of Alvin Bragg. It's like this genius cycle where Republicans are just completely neutralized and they can't do anything because they're constantly just defending the Trump from the left's psychotic attacks in court and in the media that just seem ridiculous. So, I don't agree with what happened. I think it's crazy. And I'll say this before I move on to the next story. This is something, although I'm defending Trump now because I think he was wrongfully, this was like a crazy lawsuit. The reason that I don't like Trump, besides a lot of reasons now, is he moved away from New York to Florida. Because even though he's lived everywhere, New York is insane. The Democrats are going after him. The Democrat courts are going after him. The Democrat media is going after him. The Democrat politicians are going after him. And they're trying to ruin his life and throw him in jail. So Trump did the smart thing, and he took his personal stuff and he moved it to Florida. Nothing wrong with that. I'm glad Trump did. He should get away from evil Democrats. I agree. This is why I'm kind of growing to despise Donald Trump. He gets to Florida, and within a year, he's trying to flip Florida blue. He's like, Florida's one of the worst places to live and retire. And, DeSantis, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if a Democrat would get there. Charlie Crist would do just as good of a job. Florida's easy to run because of the beaches and weather. It's like Trump's now pathologically acting like he doesn't know that California exists and it doesn't operate well. So all I have to say is Trump reminds me of like a Democrat transplant who cries and runs away from San Francisco, moves to Austin, Texas, turns Austin into San Francisco, and then blames Republicans for it. It's like Trump has every right to defend himself against psychopaths, Democrat courts, Democrat media, and Democrat I would say cities. But if you're going to run to a red state away from a blue state, and the second you get there, you're acting like you wouldn't mind if it flipped blue, this is why I don't think Donald Trump's an innocent victim. I think he trips over his own feet all the time, and it's hard to defend him constantly because it's like, all right, you're running away from evil Democrats who are trying to scam you, and you come to Florida, and now you're going to act like if Andrew Gillum or Charlie Crist wasn't there and the Democrats got their way in Florida, you think they wouldn't sue you too? If Florida flipped blue, I guarantee you the same things that are happening in the Manhattan court would be happening in the Florida courts. Don't you think so? Don't you understand that the Democrats hate you, Donald Trump? So why would you get to a red Florida that has red politicians running the show and act like it doesn't even matter and it's such a bad place to live? Like, this is the annoying part about Donald Trump. It's like a Tom and Jerry show that never ends, and there's always a distraction, always a personal thing, always the Democrats persecuting him, which forces Republicans into victim mode, defending him and not acknowledging what their party's actually doing, which is usually working with Democrats or just running some sort of Tom and Jerry controlled opposition theater. I've cracked the code, and they're going to keep this running for the next 5 years because people buy into it and they can't think properly when the left attacks. So let me know what you think. Seems crazy, but hard to feel too bad for a guy who runs to a red area and then acts like he wouldn't mind if it was blue. And then if it was blue, they would start suing him, and then he'd start crying again. It's like, then where are you going to run? Run to Texas and act like you want Democrats to run it too? I don't understand. With that being said, someone said, Trump doesn't act like that here in Amelie. Well, Derek, he actually does. I mean, he's on Truth Social saying Florida is one of the worst places because he's trying to beat DeSantis. Understandable. But he's saying Florida is one of the worst places to live, to retire, to raise a family. He's literally saying that. He's literally saying he doesn't care if Charlie Crist would have won. He's saying DeSantis isn't doing a good job. It doesn't matter. That's how bad he is. He is doing that. I know you don't want to believe he's doing that, but he is doing that. He's a Democrat transplant who runs away from a Democrat city and state and then acts like he wouldn't mind if it flipped blue. He absolutely is doing that. Stop lying, okay? Pay attention. You haven't seen that? I'm sure you haven't. Well, welcome to the show. I just told you. If you want to do the research, you can go look it up. If you want to believe that it didn't happen, then you could live in fantasy lands. But that absolutely did happen. Next story is about some sort of thing called E-Verify. I'm just going to give you a kind of back and forth between Jack Posobiec and Thomas Massie. Jack Posobiec basically seemed like he took some sort of sub jab, and he said, wow, I never thought I'd live to see America First conservatives opposing efforts to verify workers having citizenship in America. Truly revealing, keep your eyes out there. In which Thomas Massie ratioed him, and he said, I never thought I'd see Republicans clamor to give Joe Biden an employment off switch for every American, after he just used threat of non-employment to force vaccinate millions of Americans. Mandatory federal E-Verify will ultimately not be used for the purposes advertised. I asked, what does this mean? I posted it, and Thomas Massie actually responded to me. He said, House votes on an omnibus border security bill this week, and stuck in it is E-Verify. I think we should vote on the 8 bills separately, or at least vote on E-Verify separately. I think federal E-Verify will eventually be used for more harm than good, Title 8. So Jack Posobiec saying, wow, you're not America First if you don't want to verify workers. And Thomas Massie's basically saying, are you kidding me? Did you not just pay attention to what the government did with forced vaccination? You want this system to be used by President Joe Biden? And then he makes a really good point saying, I think all these bills should be separately. This is what Democrats and Republicans do to scam American citizens. They do omnibus bills, they jam together thousands or hundreds of different rules, and then they advertise it as something it's not, and then you're not a patriot if you don't want to do it. You get what I'm saying? I agree with Thomas Massie, honestly, and I don't trust the government to do more of that stuff. I don't think it's going to be used properly, and I do 100% agree that these should be separate bills and not just all jammed together. With that being said, we'll see what happens, but this is how they operate, and I'm sure most Republicans will probably vote on it. This is what they do. They build federal government things and then hand it over to Kamala Harris and then act like Republicans run the government forever. It's like Space Force. Yeah, I get it. Who's going to run it now? Kamala, or I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, but it's an interesting situation. Someone said, talk about central bank digital currency. All of these things are worth looking at. All of these things that they're rolling out are worth looking at, and keep your eyes peeled for tyranny. What they did to us in 2020 was crazy. Both parties were in on it. Democrats push further. Republicans are just controlled opposition. Like maybe 3 to 5 politicians have apologized, and all of the rest of the politicians are shamelessly fine with everything they did, including the front runners for the Democrat and Republican Party. So I think that voters should wisen up a little bit because, yeah, I'm sure there's 20 ways they're probably going to scam you. And my unpopular opinion over the last year is I don't see it. Maybe I wouldn't call myself a pessimist. I'm very optimistic, but I do think this country has gotten weak. And it's like the left is completely useless. The right is brainwashed by Donald Trump. They don't actually pay attention to anything. So, like, why wouldn't the elite scam you? I don't know. Like, because you don't want them to? Well, you got to pay attention. You got to earn it. Everything in life is earned, not given. If the Democratic Party is weak, the Republican Party is weak, but they just act like they're not, I don't understand why you wouldn't get scammed again. Like, literally they did communism in 2020. Both parties were in on it, and you're about to vote for the front runner of the guy who was in on it. And you don't even want to hold him accountable because you just think he's a victim. So it's like, what? Okay. I mean, good luck, but I don't agree. Speaking of which, last thing I want to talk about real quick, and then I'm going to read a few comments, hang out for a little bit. Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social because he's going on CNN on Wednesday night to have a town hall, probably to try to get, Democrat voters on his side for the election, because I think he knows that in order to beat Joe Biden, he's going to have to convince some other people who didn't vote for him last time. So here's what he said on Truth Social. I'll do it in my Trump voice because if I didn't, it's just not fun. He said, I'll be doing CNN tomorrow night live at the great state of New Hampshire because they are rightfully desperate to get those fantastic Trump ratings once again. They made me a deal and I couldn't refuse. Could it be the beginning of a new and vibrant CNN with no more fake news? Or it could turn into a disaster for all, including me. Let's see what happens Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. So, Trump is basically saying he'll be on CNN. Maybe it's the end of fake news. Maybe they're going to be new and vibrant. Maybe not. Watch CNN and pump your money and ratings into them because I'll be there, Patriots, on CNN, just being Trump. Probably selling the vaccine very hard. It's a great achievement. I'm a vaccine man. But anyway, CNN, if you haven't noticed, in my opinion, is trying to rebrand because they've lost a lot of their audience. Unlike Rachel Maddow, who I believe is a psychopath, but she does get ratings. Fox News gets a lot of ratings. CNN doesn't do well. People don't really watch CNN. They've really lost their credibility and respect if they ever had it. So CNN is desperate to rebrand because they're not getting good ratings. They're not making as much money, and nobody really likes them or trusts them that much, including even a lot of Democrats for whatever reason. So CNN's now, in my view, going to try to rebrand as moderate and trustworthy, and they're going to try to gain your trust by acting like they're on the fence. This is my personal opinion, and probably the opinion of most people who watch me. I don't trust CNN. I'm never going to trust CNN. They've lost my trust. They've lost my respect. They've never had my trust. And I don't care how many hoops they jump through to try to pretend like they're totally on my side. I don't think I'll ever trust CNN. I'm not going to say never, but it's going to take a lot more than a Trump town hall to get my respect and my trust. I don't like CNN. I don't trust CNN. I hope the network fails. I don't want to give them my money, and I don't believe them. I think their attempt to rebrand as moderate is disingenuous. In my view, what Donald Trump is doing is he's trying to sell to the Patriot base the same way he fraudulently sells you the vaccine and says it's such a great thing and gets you to make excuses for it. He's trying to sell to his audience that CNN might be new and vibrant because I think CNN cut him a deal. So that's who Trump is. If Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and the pharmacy swampers, the swamp creatures that Trump hangs out with, if they cut Trump a deal, if they give Trump what they want, whether it's attention, a compliment, I don't know, lobbying money, Trump does exactly what they want. That's who Trump is. He acts like he's an outsider, but he's a total swamp creature. So he's telling you in this thing that CNN, I quote, made him a deal that he couldn't refuse. Could it be the beginning of a new and vibrant CNN with no more fake news? I'm guessing they cut Trump a huge deal, like he said, and said, Trump, Republicans love you. Only you could get them to try to trust us again. So if CNN does one semi-fair town hall, Trump will probably, because of who he is, be like, CNN, oh, they're so different. They love me now. Oh, they're moderate patriots. I mean, that's how I see it. I don't trust CNN. I don't trust Trump. I'll tune into certain parts of the town hall because I'm wondering if he's going to pathologically lie about the vaccine harder than Bill Gates and sell the #1 globalist product to his base who somehow thinks they're fighting Bill Gates when Donald Trump literally takes meetings with them and listens to him. Isn't that weird to anyone else? No, nobody thinks about that. They think their whole movement's like fighting Bill Gates, and Donald Trump gave Bill Gates a White House position. Bill Gates declined, and Donald Trump took his meeting with Bill Gates and passed it through executive order. Isn't that a little weird for like an outsider movement taking on Bill Gates, the globalist, when Donald Trump is offering him White House positions and selling his vaccine like a MyPillow? No, that's not a red flag to you, patriots. Well, then CNN might be the network for you, the new and vibrant CNN who cut Trump a deal to rebrand. They're going to get rid of Don Lemon and act like they're so on your side. And I don't think anyone's going to believe it. So I don't know how much they paid Trump or what they gave Trump or what type of deal that they cut Trump. But I don't think, as brainwashed as a lot of people are, I don't think anybody in Trump's base is ever going to trust CNN. So I don't know what they paid Trump or what they gave him, what deal it was. I don't think it's going to work. I actually believe in the Republican base to see through this deception. But Trump, I mean, I feel like he thinks his base is a doormat. I think he thinks he could like crap in someone's face and they would say it's chocolate rain. A lot of people would. I'm not trying to be disgusting, but like Trump could literally poop in like a lot of his supporters' face and they'd be like, is that a Nikola Tesla time machine? It's like, no, he just thinks you're toilet paper because you act like toilet paper. And they're like, no, I think it's a code. Brown, what else is Brown? Michael Brown, George Zimmerman, man on the moon, Space Force, Kamala's going to prison. It's like, no, Trump just pooped in your face. It's not, you're like, wait, hold on. Let me try to, brown rain, purple rain, Prince got killed, who else got killed? People on the border security system, deep state system, Bill Barr, jungle bars at the gym, bars, alcohol. Who sells alcohol? MMA fighter. Think, patriots. Come on, you're smarter than think. Oh, Conor McGregor. Who else is named Conor? Well, Conor... it's like people will play this game, so I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to watch some clips of the CNN town hall, but I will never trust them on their rebranding effort. I think they're as deep state as it gets, and I'm not shocked that Trump is trying to sell his base on CNN. This is who he is. Like, all you have to do is compliment Donald Trump. It's like, you're like, Trump, I ideologically disagree with your entire base, but you're the ventilator king, Mr. Vaccine. And he'll be like, I love Gavin Newsom. He does such a good job. And then a year later, he'll be like, he's doing a bad job in California, but I won't hit him. I won't hit Newsom because he's nice to me. It's like CNN's like, hey, Trump, we're changed now. We fired Don Lemon. He's like, how much will you give me? Cut me a deal. They're like, here's the deal, Donald Trump. We'll give you a good town hall. And, and he's like, maybe they're new, maybe they're violent, or vibrant. Maybe they like Daddy Trump now. They realize I'm the vaccine king, and they know that they can't have ratings without me. It's like, here's another idea. Instead of trying to help CNN resurrect their image, why don't you let them fail? Because they're so terrible. No, you don't want to let them fail, Trump. You want to make them new and vibrant because they cut you a deal. He's such a clown. This next election would be so easy to win. What's going on at the border is insane. The fact that the Biden administration is doing such a bad job is insane. What they're doing in children's school is insane. The economy is insane. These are all winnable issues. These are all issues you could win a Joe Rogan and an Elon Musk on. These are all issues you could win a lot of Bernie progressives on. It would be so easy, such a slam dunk election for Republicans. If they had a leader that was honest and trustworthy and just spoke the truth about every issue and didn't be like, Bill Barr is, he's a meatball, DeSantis, Florida's a bad place to live and retire. It's like, it's such an easy election to win. But Donald Trump's going to be like, my vaccine's so good, CNN, And then people are going to be like, I mean, he's the best we have. He's better than Biden. And it's like, bro, he's the only person that could potentially possibly lose to Joe Biden. It's such an easy election. The cities are failing. Crime is rampant in all major cities. Most people realize the economy's trash. Most people at this point realize the big pharma scam was a scam. Most people understand that what they're doing to sexualize little kids is crazy. Even a lot of left-wingers are figuring that out. It's such a slam dunk election. Just tell the truth about every issue unapologetically and sound authentic. Don't create an entire clown show around yourself and people you hired and people you don't like, even though you moved to their state to run away from Democrats, but you're totally fine with turning that into a Democrat. It's such a tiresome clown show. I'm not shocked that Trump's going to try to resurrect CNN. That's who he is. They need each other. Trump needs CNN's approval. CNN needs Trump's ratings. Without Trump, they have nothing. So they cut Trump a deal for Trump to try to help rebrand them. And he's literally telling you that. I'll be doing a CNN live tonight, live from the great state of New Hampshire, okay? Because they are rightfully desperate to get those fantastic Trump ratings once again. They made me a deal I couldn't refuse. Could be the beginning of a new and vibrant CNN with no more fake news, or it could be a disaster for all, including me. Let's see what happens. Tune in to find out. Trump is a salesman for CNN, just like he's a salesman for Pfizer, a salesman for Moderna, and a salesman for Johnson & Johnson. He's a salesman for CNN now. He's not even telling you he's not. He's like, they made me a deal I couldn't refuse. Could it be the beginning of a new and vibrant CNN? Find out. Watch CNN to watch me. It's Jerry chasing Tom. And people are like, oh my gosh, it's a secret code. I mean, maybe if Nikola Tesla's grandfather put me in a time machine, then I'll just cream my pants watching Sean Hannity. I mean, oh my gosh, we almost got Gavin Newsom. I mean, it's only that Trump's working with him. I mean, Fauci, we're this close to getting him. If only Trump wasn't friends with him. And, oh my gosh, Bill Gates is such a globalist, but Donald Trump's out there selling the globalist product more than Bill Gates. And Trump took meetings with him and offered him a position. But I mean, that's not sketchy at all, Patriots. Let's tune in to CNN to find out what's next. Honk, 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 honk. It's a clown movement now. It's such a joke. He's trying to help CNN stay afloat. Even when I read CNN articles, if they talk about generic stuff, I always preface it with, I don't like CNN. Sometimes I'm just trying to get their angle on it, or it's a generic article that Reuters and everybody publish. But I'm not like, oh, maybe they're new and vibrant. Maybe they're amazing now. Honk, honk. Watch CNN to find out. He's a salesman for CNN. He's a salesman. Trump is... I'm actually enjoying it because I feel like for right-wingers, it's like a humiliation ritual. It's like, what can I make these people do? What won't they do for me? And people are like crawling on their knees through fire. They're like, oh, I'll do anything. I'll do anything for you. He's like, will you watch CNN? Yes, Daddy. I'm not going to lie. I do want to see what's happening, but it sucks because it's like, dude, I do not want to give these people my attention. I know they're a failing network. I want them to fail like most liberal media. If CNN tried to cut me a deal, could you imagine if I said, CNN, cut me a deal, go watch me on CNN? Everybody in the movement would be like, yo, Anomaly's controlled op. Anomaly's a shill. Anomaly's trying to help CNN. He's literally telling you he cut a deal. He made a deal with CNN. He's selling CNN. Trump made a deal with CNN. If DeSantis made a deal with CNN, everyone would call him a swamper. If Hillary Clinton did a deal with CNN, everyone would call him a swamper. If anyone in the Republican Party did a deal, said, I made a deal with CNN, they offered me a deal I couldn't refuse, it would be the end of their political career. But Donald Trump, it's just the beginning because people have abandoned their Christianity to create a new satanic religion where they have to make excuses for what the CNN vaccine salesman does. All I'm saying is be consistent. If Ron DeSantis could go on Twitter and say, I cut a deal with CNN, they offered me a deal I couldn't refuse, come watch me, and it could be a new and vibrant CNN, his entire political career would be over. He's done if he did that once. But Donald Trump shamelessly does it, and no one cares. He's up 40% in the polls. The Republican Party at this point is a controlled opposition humiliation ritual. Am I jealous? No, I'm just embarrassed that Republicans are so weak and pathetic. It's like, look at the left. Yeah, keep looking at the left, because at least the left isn't pretending to be strong. The left is like, I hate myself. I don't even work out because I think it's a far right. Like, this is the left. They're like, I don't work out anymore because it's a far right conspiracy theory. I hate myself and I'm taking pills to mutilate my own genitals. I'm a weak boy. Like, they're not even pretending to be strong. And then the right's like, we're a bunch of strong patriots. But it's like, at least they're not pretending to be strong, because they're not. Republicans pretend to be so tough and so strong, and but then it's like you tell them to have the same accountability that they have for all Republicans for Donald Trump, and they're like, "What, are you jealous? I mean, yeah, CNN's cool now." You know, if anyone else did this, that you would be bashing them. You know, just be honest. If DeSantis did this, you'd be bashing him. If Candace Owens did this, you'd be bashing her. If Ben Shapiro did this, you'd be bashing him. If Kevin McCarthy did this, you'd be bashing him. If Marjorie Taylor Greene did this, you'd be bashing him. If Matt Gaetz did this, you'd be bashing him. If any Republican did this, you'd be bashing him. But with Donald Trump, you must just be jealous. I mean, how bad do you want to cut a deal with CNN? Guys, I don't care if CNN gave me $1 billion. I'm not helping them. I'm not cutting a deal with CNN. Someone said you're right and most can't handle it. It's just obvious. You know, I had a debate the other day with I'm gonna probably air it at some point because it was in a hotel room, and he was saying that Soros endorsed DeSantis, and I said Soros said that he thinks DeSantis is gonna win the election. He didn't endorse him. He just thinks that Trump's gonna lose. And then I said the truth is also true about Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom did the same thing for Trump. Gavin Newsom said that DeSantis shouldn't even run. He has no chance. Trump is going to win the nominee. Is that an endorsement? I don't think so. I just think Gavin Newsom thinks that. Although I do think that Gavin Newsom and Trump are friends, but I'm not going to say that that's an endorsement. But people the other way will be like, that's an endorsement. It's not an endorsement. It's just their opinion of who's going to win or lose the nominee. You could even Google George Soros Trump and find the connections between those two, but you won't. But anyway, it's just like, what's the CC fraud? I don't even know what that is. I like Trump because he's not into the CC fraud. What do you mean by CC? I don't know what that is. But anyway, yeah, I mean, he has a totally separate set of standards, which I'm not jealous of. It's just like politically ridiculous. It doesn't, like, if left-wingers do socialism, it's bad. And if McCarthy does socialism, it's bad. But if Donald Trump does socialism, it's a secret code. It's not jealousy. It's just like the base is pathetic. Someone said, I give up. You give up what? You give up disagreeing or what? Someone said, these hypocritical double standards is what's going to bring the country down. I agree. There's double standards with race. There's double standards with religion. There's double standards with politics. The left has double standards for the right. The media has double standards for conservatives. And conservatives have double standards for Trump. And everybody's a hypocrite. You know, the amount of people that actually believe what they say is the minority. And it's sad. I get why 4 years of Make America Great Again ends in lockdowns and vaccine sales. I get it. It's because the left is pathetic and the right pretends to be tough, but they're really not. They pretend to think critically, but they don't want to. A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. You know, at the end of the day, as tough as everyone talks, 99% of people will do what they're told. It's just true. You know, of course, there's going to be some states that rebel, but for the most part, this country has no fight in it. And I'm not telling you to go somewhere and fight. And this gets me at odds with certain people. They'll be like, oh, you're not a real patriot if you don't go to the Capitol and this and that. It's like, bro, all you have to do is take your mask off and go somewhere. to be a rebel. You don't have to go to a Fed trap at the Capitol to pledge your allegiance to the vaccine salesman who got you set up. How is that helping? You know, everyone's like, oh, I'm angry. It's like, be angry at yourself. If you can't even take off a mask and walk into a restaurant, who cares how mad you are in Washington, D.C.? Oh, you're so mad. How'd you get to Washington, D.C.? Oh, I flew on a plane. How'd you fly in the plane? Well, I had to wear a mask in the airport or wear a mask on a plane, but I didn't want to, but I wore it, and I took my mask off when I got to D.C., and I was mad in the streets. Well, be mad at yourself that you can't even resist the tyranny. If you can't even get an entire, and I'm not saying that, you know, everyone didn't to some extent play along, but it's like, you know, the real revolution, the real protest is a peaceful one. Just be who you pretend to be. Do what you act like you are. No one wants to do that, so they're angry. Of course they are. I'm angry. Well, be angry at yourself, you know? Who cares if you stand in the street for a Fed trap if you can't even rebel against forced masking and forced vaccine tyranny? It's not easy, but it's like, that's the country. I mean, it's so easy to manipulate both sides. I made a joke on Twitter today. It's like, in order to fool both sides, you know, give Team Red something and call it the Patriot Act, and give Team Blue something and call it the Gaytriot Act, you know, like Patriot with gay at the front. It's like, this bill's going to spy on you and, you know, basically persecute millions of innocent Americans who love the country. It's like, well, I fundamentally disagree with that. It's like, but it's called the Patriot Act, and we're going to pretend like it's only for radical Muslims who the U.S. government's probably funding. And it's like, well, I guess we got to fight them. I agree with the Patriot Act. And it's like, here's the same bill that's going to, you know, spy on Democrats. And they're like, I don't agree with that. That's xenophobic. It's like, no, it's called the Gaytriot Act. It's for the LGBT plus community. And they'll be like, well, I mean, I don't want to be a homophobe. I guess I got to. It's that easy. It's really that easy to fool a lot of people. You like it? The Gaytriot Act? They're like, well, I wouldn't want to disagree with Richard Simmons, and I guess I gotta sign the Gaytriot Act. Yeah, someone said you're right. It's true. No one has a backbone anymore. Yeah, I mean, I'm just, and it's not like I'm not trying to hype people up in the streets. That's what feds do. The feds want to hype you up and like make you feel like a patriot. They're like, you're pissed off at the government, right? And you're like, hell yeah, I am. They're like, let's go for Gretchen Whitmer. And you're like, yeah. And then you end up in prison, you know? So like the people trying to like hype you up and scare you, it's like a Fed trap. I'm not saying to not peacefully defend yourself and be a weakling, but at the end of the day, this entire country would be free tomorrow if people just got their mind right. You know, the real revolution's internal. But you got the left blaming the right blaming the left. The left is categorically insane. The right's brainwashed over Donald Trump. 99% of people are bashing their heads against the wall. And that's what it is. It's like the right has better instincts. The Republican Party has better policy, but they don't actually enforce it and enact it most of the time, you know? Let's see. Someone said, anomaly. You criticize the Republicans and Democrats. I think you meant Democrats, but that's fine. Where do you stand and what are you going to do about it besides snort a lot? I'm just going to snort like a pig. Melinda. Sorry, Melinda. Honk, honk, snort, snort. So I'm a registered Republican. I vote Republican. I think they do a decent job locally. But I think that Republicans are weak and pathetic on a national scale because their base is so weak and pathetic and they allow them to get away with everything. So I have the ideology that the Republican Party pretends to believe, but I'm smart enough to know that they actually don't believe it. So for example, every time they run, they act like they're libertarians going to make government smaller. And every time, including Donald Trump, they make government bigger, go into trillions of dollars of more debt, and print more money than Karl Marx on Adderall. So my stance is actually not a fence-sitting one. The Republicans are fence-sitters. They talk to you like Republicans and libertarians, and they govern like communists. I don't like communism. I don't like socialism for pharma and tyranny. I am who you pretend to be. That's all I'm saying. So to me, it's a two-pronged system. I still vote, but I don't just play the victim all the time and say, oh, the only way we can win the election is by crying about it all the time and never taking accountability for anything. Oh yeah, that's going to make you really likable to independents and moderates. Yeah, you definitely, Like most Republicans are like, the election was stolen and there's nothing we need to do if it's like people legitimately also don't like you. You know, I understand that some machines failed in Arizona. I understand that they count too long and Democrats have psychotic policy. But also, it is an election, so you do have to reach out to other people. You can't just circle jerk at Trump rallies all the time around the people. Well, look, we got 10,000 people in a hangar. Well, there's 3 million people voting in this state, so who cares? Bad Bunny and Cardi B could come and sell 100,000 tickets, but they'd still lose an election, so it's not a rock concert. I'm not saying a rally's a bad idea, but just because you could fill up an arena, why doesn't Beyonce run for office? How come Jay-Z endorsed Hillary Clinton or whatever, and she still lost? Because it doesn't matter how many people you could fill in an arena. You have to win an election in enough states to get the electorate. But I don't think the modern day Republican Party is interested in actually like gaining people's respect and trust. They just sit on True Social selling CNN and vaccines and acting like Bill Barr is so bad even when they hired Bill Barr. It's like, what do you want Bill Barr to do? He didn't do this. Mike Pence didn't overturn the election. People, okay, you want Mike Pence to yeah. Should I vote this time, or should Kamala Harris just decide? What's the point of even voting? I think Kamala can just send the electorates back and, they'll switch it. But Mike Pence has the power. The power to do what? He has the power to send the electorates back. Back where? Back to the states. Well, if the states voted wrong, then why did they send them in the first place? Does anybody think on the right anymore or no? What do you think he had the power to do? Send the electorates back to the states, which is unprecedented in the last 100-something years. Okay. Where would they go back to? The states. What states? The states that already sent them in. Why do you believe these states that already sent them in, that if Mike Pence sends them back, that they're going to send them back with different results? Why do you believe that? Because you like Donald Trump so much? This whole movement is just like goofy now. Trump has put people in a goofy loop and they don't think anymore. Someone said Republicans will never win again, guaranteed. This is a slam dunk election, but they need to run somebody that actually speaks to people and doesn't just rehash their own personal drama on a social network that people are literally like mentally ill and thinking that Trump has a time machine to save the world from his friends. It's like, I know people that pathologically lied during the lockdown and told millions of people that the lockdown was to arrest the pedophiles, not for you. The lockdown was one of the most psychotic, harmful government policies in modern history, and it hurt billions of people around the world and millions of businesses. Lockdowns are evil, okay? This shouldn't be controversial for a Democrat or a conservative and libertarian base, or Democrats even, because they're supposed to be liberals, but Lord knows they're not anymore. With that being said, there's people that pathologically lied during the lockdowns. They got so brainwashed by their fanfare, Comic-Con, Pokemon-style worship, satanic idol worship of their false religion of Donald Trump sucking up to, that they told their audience that the lockdowns were to arrest the bad guys. They've never apologized, just like Trump never apologizes about the vaccine, just like Democrats and Republicans never apologize about printing money. You have pathological influencers that still have never apologized. Could you imagine if I said that lockdowns were a secret scheme to arrest the bad guys, and then I realized that I was wrong and it was actually the bad guys locking us down for Big Pharma? Don't you think I would apologize? Of course I would, because I have a soul, because I'm a good person. But there's people so diabolical that they won't even admit that they lied about that. They just move on to the next lie. I don't care if you have a donkey or an elephant next to your name. That's insane. And that's a lot of people on True Social. It's not everybody, but a lot of the people still there are under that spell. They'll never admit to anything because they live in a false reality. How's that going to win the election? Immigration, the economy, foreign policy, the fact that Democrat cities are incredibly disgusting now, the sexualization of children. Drilling on those topics with compassion, with empathy, but at the same time, without being weak, you can win this next election by 15 points. There's so many people that are independents, moderates, and even Democrats that know that this is all BS. They don't even like Joe Biden. They just don't like Donald Trump, and they're tired of this constant, It's always like a show about things that he hired. Get over it, bro. You hired Bill Barr, and now you don't like Bill Barr. Take accountability like a real CEO, like a real leader. Stop playing the victim. If you hired somebody that you now don't like, admit that it's your fault. No? You're just going to cry about it 50,000 times to a group of people that have brainwashed themselves into thinking that you have a time machine to save the world from pedophiles when you literally locked the country down and sold vaccines and nobody got held accountable except for your own supporters that you didn't care about until Kanye West said something about it? Yeah, that's a good strategy for the election. But no worries. If Republicans get blown out, they'll just play the victim for 5 years. They don't actually have to reach out to voters. They just have to get mad at everybody for telling them the truth and sit on a social network that no one cares about, talking to themselves. That's a really good strategy. But that's called victim mentality. You don't have to actually win over the culture and win over people if you know you're going to play the victim anyway. Someone said your ego has outgrown your actual brain. Come on, man. Make an intelligent argument, Janie. I just said 50 things. Name one thing you disagree with. Name one thing that's more intelligent than what I said. Name one. I bet you can't. I bet your brain is like a pancake right now. I'll give you time, though. Name one. Someone said no one could admit fault, then they're liable. For sure. Someone said he talked about curving into the spread. I don't even know what you're talking about, but I'll leave some room for comments. Thank you guys on YouTube for being here. Anybody that's here is a member. Don't you know what the candidate with the best hackers wins? If you believe that, then why even vote? Why even act like you want Trump to beat DeSantis? You'll be the same person saying, well, how could you like DeSantis more than Trump? Why does it matter who I like if you don't even believe in elections? Stop voting if you don't believe in elections. Stop talking about Trump. Why even talk about Trump if you don't believe? Why you're going to show up to the polls and you're going to vote. You're not going to hack. You're going to show up in person and you're going to vote for Donald Trump. Why? Why are you going to vote for Donald Trump if you don't believe in elections? You think it's all hacked? Tell me why are you going to vote, Janie, or no? Are you going to hack the elections or no? You going to vote? Why vote? Why show up and vote for Donald Trump? Why argue about Trump and DeSantis? Why? It doesn't matter. You know that it does matter or else you wouldn't care. Someone said it's called mass formation psychosis. I'm not saying they're 100% fair, and I'm not saying that it's 100% trustworthy. You vote, Janie? Why? Why vote? The best hackers win. It doesn't matter. Why would you vote? You just said the best hackers win. So why would you go to an election and vote if you think it's hackers win? What's the point? Tell me why you vote when the hackers win. I'm just pointing out the inconsistency. I'll respect both sides of this argument. Thank you for being a member, Du Okono. I don't care which side you're on, just be who you say you are. If you think that hackers win the election but you vote, you don't make sense. Someone else said that? Okay. Maybe it was someone else. Someone said, I'm voting for someone else in the primary. I know that much. Anomaly, can you see us? Yeah, I can see you, MPAV. Appreciate it. Someone said, these presidents get selected, not elected. Then don't vote. Then sit at home. If you think that. I think that they control both sides of politics because they just lobby both sides and both sides just fight. That's how I think they control it. If you have Romney versus Obama, it doesn't matter because they're almost the same. If you have McCain versus Obama, they don't need to rig the election. The election's already been rigged through the two candidates that don't matter. If you have Gore versus Bush, do you think Al Gore, Mr. Climate Change, would have been better than George Bush? I'm sure he would have done the same stuff. And if you're able to lobby both Trump and Hillary Clinton to the point where even Donald Trump will run around selling the Bill Gates style vaccine, then it doesn't even matter who you vote for or what's going on with the machines, because both of the parties have been lobbied and controlled by the mega donors, which is almost definitely true. So I think that's how they operate. This is why I don't like the narrative. To me, if 4 years of Donald Trump ends in him saying Sweden should have locked down and him doing vaccine socialism and imploding the economy, that's the theft. The theft is not the fake Tom and Jerry circus that he brainwashes right-wingers into. The theft is the fact that you voted for Donald Trump in 2016. You won in 2016, and you still ended in the most oppressive communist style government that has ever been seen in modern history in America. That's the theft. That 4 years of a Republican ends in vaccine socialism and communism. That's it. No one knows that except for me. I'm in the minority of people who think that way. Republicans are ripe to get scammed if people can't see that. So when it comes to DeSantis and Trump, do people want to know the truth? It might upset some people. Although I personally think that DeSantis executes better than Trump, and Trump talks the talk but doesn't walk the walk, and I think DeSantis is smoother and actually does more. But with that being said, the same people control Trump and DeSantis. The same donors, the same people that will control DeSantis, and he'll probably end up just like Trump, being controlled, they also control Trump. But once again, the circus that Trump creates is saying that, oh, that's only DeSantis. Like Karl Rove, you mean the guy who worked with your advisors in 2020, that Karl Rove? Paul Ryan, you mean the Paul Ryan that after he stepped down, you said that his legacy couldn't be questioned and you're all with him? Trump's with Paul Ryan. No? Jeb Bush, you don't have any employees who worked for Jeb Bush. Everything Trump accuses DeSantis of, he also does. That's what makes Trump's a scam. I'm glad he's pointing it out in DeSantis, but he also does it, and his base is too brainwashed to even know that. And the same mega donors that, in my opinion, have dual loyalty and are forcing Trump and DeSantis to pass hate speech laws, these people also control Trump's administration. This is a somewhat nuanced view of how to fix the problem. You have to identify the problem, but if identifying the problem just means running circles around some tired Tom and Jerry narrative about not addressing the fact that no matter who you voted for, 2020 happened, that's a bigger theft than November, March through November. The country wasn't stolen in November 2020. The country was stolen in March 2020 and April 2020 and June 2020 and July 2020. By that point, your country is already a pseudo-socialist communist country, and you have Republicans in power, and they don't even care. That doesn't set off a red flag in your head? No, you just stick to the script of what Trump says. Moderna, follow me to the Capitol, Patriots. Moderna's a good vaccine. Moderna's a good vaccine. The election, Patriots. Follow me to the Capitol. Mike Pence, Patriots. Moderna, Pfizer, Moderna. Patriots, Moderna. I'm a vaccine guy. Follow me to the Capitol. I've been wronged. Well, I guess I don't remember what happened to me this year. I'm just going to spend the next 4 years running circles around this instead of remembering what both parties did to me. That's the whole trap. It's so obvious. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to read some comments. Ask yourself this question. Don't believe what I say. I'm not your brain. I'm not your soul. God gave you a brain. God gave you a soul. Don't believe me. Believe your own brain. Do you think if anyone else said, I'm going to read these words, do you think if any other Republican said this, that they'd still have a career in politics? You don't think that this would be used against DeSantis for the next 2 years? You don't think that any Republican influencer would be shamed out of the movement if they said that that CNN made them a deal that they couldn't refuse, that this might be the beginning of a new and vibrant CNN, maybe no more fake news? You think any Republican could get away with saying they struck a deal with CNN to give them ratings, they made them a deal they couldn't refuse, and it might be the beginning of a new and vibrant CNN? Name me one Republican besides Donald Trump who could tweet that or True Social that, and it wouldn't end their entire political career. Name one. You think Candace Owens could say that? No. You think anyone, no one could say that. He's got people under a spell. He's like a hypnotist. He's like who Scott Adams pretends to be. Scott Adams pretends to be a hypnotist, but he's just a boomer with no self-awareness, or maybe perhaps above a boomer. I don't know. He's an old guy who took the vaccine and lost his mind, but now he's gaining it back. God bless Scott Adams. You know, pray for Scott. I'm sure me and Scott Adams would get along in person. I'm just saying. You know, he's like, I'm a hypnotist. I'm a trained hypnotist. It's like, yeah, Scott. Whoa, I'm getting very sleepy. Whoa. You're not a hypnotist, dude. But Trump kind of is. Janie said, wow, wow, wow. God bless. oh, wow, God bless. I mean, I criticize the left all day, God bless, but you're not a Christian if you talk about the right the same way you talk about the left, right? Right, Janie? I love that one. It's like, I'll literally just like talk about the deception in both parties, and I'll talk about the left-wing deception, and people will be like, oh, yeah, talk about that left-wing deception. Yeah, see through that. I'm not a sheep. And then I'll talk about right-wing deception, and people will be like, well, I'm a Christian, and as a Christian, you know, it's not my place to criticize. What are you talking about? Your entire social media account is criticizing left-wingers. Oh, no. God called me to criticize the left wing, but God says that it's not Christian to tell the truth about the right wing. I mean, if the left wing sells vaccines, that's demonic. But if the right wing doesn't, I mean, that's just a secret plan. I mean, I'm a Christian. It's like, yeah. Oh, yeah. God bless. Like, someone said you're not attracting anyone to God right now. You're pathetic right now. Okay. So I said I can't get on Twitter, no cell phone. Not missing much. I mean, Twitter's cool, but honestly, I'd rather be like in an ocean or something. Let's see. It's okay, Janie. You'll be okay. I love that you're still here, though. I love that you're listening. Let me see. I'm going to read Susan because she wrote something really long on Facebook. What's up, Susan? She said, I'm reading this in the dark, by the way. I have no idea what it says, but it's long. Basically, though, we have no recourse against tyrannical government. What good does taking responsibility to do so? I voted. Sorry, you seem like you are becoming part of the left. What makes you think that any person is going to be able to resist a one world government reset? And for you to spend more time attacking Trump than you are the real conspiracy that's happening by design is not helping the fight against the real danger. Why are you accusing conservatives of being victims? I am more angry. I'm not a victim. Well, congratulations for being angry. I'm sure that'll help. Why are you saying you don't vote? I never said that. Trump supporters are not a cult. Why are those supporting Obama not a cult? Well, this is your like false binary thing where it's like, why do you talk about the right? Obama, just talk about Obama. Okay, I mean, go to CNN. I'm sure they'll talk about Obama. Like, it's like, how dare I have accountability too? I mean, I don't want accountability. I mean, Obama, please talk about Obama. It'll make me feel better about myself if you just talk about Obama. I mean, I'm against socialism, but when Donald Trump does it, I don't want to hear about it. Okay, then watch Sean Hannity wear a CIA pin, or watch Mark Levin talk about a war in Ukraine. Like, I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot of people that'll tell you, you've never done any. No, when the Republicans do socialism, it's totally fine and not worth talking about, but we're going to spend all day talking about how socialism sucks. But when our party does it, it's not even worth talking about. I mean, you can't stop the one world government, but talk about the one world government. How dare you ask for the government to be held accountable, but I want the government accountable because I'm angry. Just talk about Obama. Yeah, that'll really fight them. Like, do people listen to themselves? Yesterday on Twitter, some guy says to me, I was saying something. He goes, you don't understand, Anomaly. Reagan was an icebreaker, and Trump is the same. He's an icebreaker. This isn't Islam. You don't just get everything you want, and I'm like, at once, and I'm like, wait, can we break down this guy's tweet? He's telling me this isn't Islam. We can't get results because we don't live in an Islamic country. And he says that Reagan was an icebreaker and Trump was an icebreaker. So let's go over what an icebreaker is, right? An icebreaker breaks the ice, and then the ice doesn't need to be broken anymore. Like if you're in a conversation with a girl, you break the ice, and then it's broken, and then you have a conversation. You don't break the ice for 30 years and then bring someone else to break the ice again. If you need to break the ice 30 years later, you never broke the ice. So if Reagan broke the ice, Trump wouldn't need to break the ice. But this is the Republican Party, is they just always think they're dipping their feet in the water. We're almost there. We broke the ice, but we just need to break the ice. Dude, he was in office for 4 years. There was 8 years of Reagan, 4 years of Trump. The ice isn't broken yet, then they're not icebreakers. What are you talking about? We can't get what we want because we're not Islam. Okay, what? I mean, Islamic people, they actually stand up for what they believe in, but us Christian patriots, we don't do anything, and we like it that way. It's like, well, then you're going to get trans schools. I don't know, but we don't like that. Well, then do something about it. Well, we don't want to because we just want to break the ice for 50 years. It's like, then you're good. That, like, what? Islam gets results because they actually do what they believe, and Christian patriots break the ice for 40 years with big pharma. Yeah, that's a great analogy. I'm not Islamic, but it's like, what does that have to do with me saying, what do you want? What do people want me to do? Thank you, Dale. Do people want me to just be like, it's the left, Obama, it's Obama. Obama did everything. It's not the Republicans too. It's just Obama. It's not the mega donors funding Obama. Obama's just a puppet. No, it's Obama. He's running the show. Guys, the show's been ran long before Obama was here, and it will be ran long before. Obama is not the brains behind this operation. I know a lot of like Republican pages like to be like, Obama's doing everything. Yeah, Obama took a time machine and created the Federal Reserve. Obama did that. Obama's a banker. He's a big banker, guys. It's China and Obama. Obama's a puppet. Obama is like a Biden with way more charisma. You know what I'm saying? An empty vessel for way richer people to work through. No, it's all him. Someone said, we want you to be objective like we used to be. I'm still objective. I'm just breaking the brainwash. If you say socialism sucks and then Republicans print $9 trillion, that's the most socialist scam I've ever heard of, but you don't want to talk about it, then what do you want? You want to lose, and you just want Sean Hannity to tell you that you're the good person. I don't understand. What's your ideology? If you're against socialism, why do you not care when Trump and Republicans do it? Why do I have to act like vaccine socialism and resurrecting CNN's ratings is an amazing thing when you don't even believe that? Randy said, no, you seem out of control today, angry. I'm not angry. I'm having fun, actually. I thought it was pretty entertaining. But it's just like people are caught on a goofy loop. It's like the right-wing equivalent of I'm stuck with a bunch of like non-binary fairies that don't even know what gender they are, talking to me for 5 years about what they learned in, microbiology, like gender studies school. It's like at a certain point, I'm not afraid to have a conversation or a debate. I just don't want to live in that reality. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm trapped in like a Starbucks bathroom with a bunch of fairies telling me about what they learned in liberal school. I'm not afraid to have the convo. I'm just bored. I don't want to spend the next 5 years of my life doing that. So it's the same thing with Republicans. A lot of conservatives are caught on a goofy loop. They're caught on this like programmed goofy loop where they don't want to hear anything outside of what they already know, but what they know is not even real. So I'm not upset or angry. It's just I'm not going to spend the next 5 years of my life being like Carl Rove, who helped work on the Trump 2020 campaign, Paul Ryan, who Donald Trump was friends with and said did a great job, Jeb Bush, who, like, all people know is they're like phrases. You just like press a button and they don't even think through what they're saying. They're like, but he got fooled by his advisors. Boop. Well, Carl Rove. Boop. Obama. It's like I'm talking to a brick wall at a certain point. And then it's like, you sound liberal. If you take more conservative stances than the Republican Party, you're a liberal because you're challenging characters that I like that provably didn't actually do what they said they were going to do. Okay. It's a goofy loop. It's literally like a goofy loop. It's like Trump is like a circus ringleader and he's got people on a goofy loop and they haven't thought critically for years. So they're becoming like the left, just incapable of intelligent thought. Someone said, let's have it. Both parties are corrupt. Absolutely, Randy. But it's not really that crazy or hard if people want to hear it, but I'm not trying to be a dick, but it's like, just tell me about Obama. Why? Obama sucks. He's a puppet, and I hope he never runs again. But is that going to change the fact that 4 years to make America great again ended in a communist vaccine sales pitch by Donald Trump? If that's your side, you're not going anywhere, Mary, or whatever your name. It's not, someone else will lie to you. There's a lot of influencers that eat Mar-a-Lago steaks and have no soul or brain. They're the new rhinos. They're going to be Marco Rubio in 20 years. Let them tell you what you want to hear. They could create AI Trump images of like Trump standing next to a lion. Yeah, we're really going to fight the deep state by hallucinating. I mean, and I'm Pikachu. I'm Ash Ketchum. Pika-pee. Yeah. Let's make AI images of me standing next to Michael Jordan. Let's make me 50 feet tall, and we'll make Michael Jordan look like Hezbollah. Let's do that and that'll fight the deep state. I don't know what people want. Janie said someone hit him with a roll of duct tape. It's shocking that you're so upset at me, but you've been here for an hour. You're like, let me hit him with duct tape. It's like, there's a way to hit me with duct tape. You just click the X button. Like, the equivalent of duct taping my mouth would be you clicking X and go watching something else. But you won't do it. You love my show. You love hearing the truth because I'm like the father figure that tells you what you don't want to hear. Mom says, go out at 3 o'clock and eat candy all day and get fat. And then daddy comes home and says, son, if you want to be an athlete, you got to work out and exercise and try hard. And I want to do what mommy says. I want to eat cake and candy every day. And daddy says, no, son, you got to pay attention. I don't want to. I just want to live at the candy store. Daddy's home. I hate you, Anomaly. But I hate you. I'm going away. I'm going. Here's like, I'm going away. I'm like, is that you over there? No. You know, you could go to any other website, right? You go to YouTube. There's millions of content creators. Honestly, there's too much. It's really cutting into my business model. You could watch anything. You got television. You could watch anything you want. I hate you. Then why have you been here for an hour? I want to put a duct tape on your mouth. You can literally click the X button. You don't have to. Okay, I'm going. Okay, bye. Wait, what? It's like the people that get the most mad, they'll stay for an hour. Because it's daddy time. Mommy tells you to eat cake all day. If you eat cake all day, we'll fight Obama if you eat cake all day. And I'm like, yo, you got to stop eating the cake. But I don't want to. I just want to blame the left. If I blame the left, Mark Levin's going to sell me a Patriot coin. Mark Levin said if I give money to Ukraine, I'm not anti-Semitic anymore. Okay, then watch Mark Levin or whatever. I'm sorry. Yeah. That'll surely show Obama. I don't know what to tell you. Some have to laugh to keep going insane from all your stupidity. I have to make jokes about it. It's like, they say misery loves company. It's like some people are going insane where it's like they're going to drag you into their insanity. It's like, here's what I believe. And people are like, I agree with you. And then a year later, it's like, here's what I believe. And people are like, have you ever considered that Donald Trump took a Nikola Tesla time machine to space and he knows more than us? Have you ever thought that Trump hired pharmacy lobbyists and did socialism for the vaccine industry because he knows a lot and he's trying to save us from a 10-year lockdown? Have you ever thought of that anomaly? It's like, wait, so you like socialism and vaccine scams now because your guy did it? If Hillary Clinton or Ron DeSantis did that, you would object to it because you don't actually believe that. You're like, well, who am I to judge? I mean, he knows more. But if you shouldn't judge, then why are you always on Twitter judging? Well, because I judge all the time. I just don't judge Donald Trump. It's like I don't believe you. If you're one of these Christians that says, God is great, who am I to judge? I'm just gonna pick flowers in a field. Then I'm like, I respect that. Honestly, politics is a trick. It's a trap. Don't come. But people are like, Jesus told me not to ever question Donald Trump, but Jesus told me to question the left. Yeah? Did God tell you that in the earphone? He said, thou shalt not judge and thou shalt not question Republicans that you like, only Republicans that you dislike. Thou shalt love socialism when it's done by your guy, and thou shalt make excuses for vaccine scams done by your guy. I mean, both sides are so easy to trick. The left showed that when it was like, at first, Trump did that, and they're like, oh, wait, no, we don't want it because Trump did it. And then they're like, now you like it again. And they're like, I like it again. It's not Trump's vaccine. And Trump's like, it's my vaccine. Part of me feels like the powers that be probably yanked him out of office because, like, how the hell are we going to mandate this thing if left-wingers don't like it? We got to pretend like he didn't do it. He's like, but I did it. I'm the vaccine guy. It's like, but psychologically, we can't get the left to like it if you said you did it. It's like, well, what do we do then? It's like, well, we could throw you on Newsmax for 2 years and you could just pathologically lie for Big Pharma and no one will believe you, but they'll still like you. He's like, okay, sounds good. You know, it's fascinating. Like, give Trump this policy and MAGA will defend it. Take that policy and put it in the hands of someone else, they'll disagree with it. Take that policy and give it to Trump, the Democrats will hate it. Take that policy out of Trump's hands and put it somewhere else and Fauci's hands, and then they'll like it. Like, this is the problem with our country. Our country's so fake. People don't actually have a spine, a brain, and a soul. That's why our country's so, I was going to say gay, but that would be hateful. So, according to the policy. So I'll just say our country's getting, our country is getting gay though. Is that hate speech to say like America is super gay now? It is really gay. Like everything's really gay. Beer's gay. It used to just be like San Francisco's really gay, but now like Florida's gay. Every show's gay. Every superhero, like it's like they have to have them tongue kissing a dude. It's just like a lot of conservative influencers are gay. They're like, we're going to fight the left by dressing up like a tranny. Whoa. The left. Someone said your music is gay. I'm not even mad that you said that because I do have some songs that are a little gay. You're not wrong. I've evolved. I'm just saying like I do have a joke lyric in Bob Ross that's a little gay. I just said like, I was joking about LGBT and how like, I liked lesbians or something. I think I did say something like that in a song. Like, Anyway, I don't know why I even got on that tangent. I just thought it was funny. Like, it's so like they don't want you to say it, but it's just funny to be like, America's gay. And they're like, that's hate speech. And I'm like, no, it's a compliment. They're like, oh, okay. Yeah, it is really gay, isn't it? And it's like, I don't know. Just saying. Someone said it used to be who gives a S. Yeah, it was, but now the slippery slope is so real that it's like they're forcing it on everyone. So it's hard to be like, who cares? Because like they're trying to shove it down like 5-year-olds' throats. So I get the like live and let live thing because to an extent you're responsible for yourself. So it's not really your role to tell others what to do. But if they're going to infringe on every aspect of your life, it's like, whoa, it's gotten a little far to where like even normal people that don't care are now forced to care because it's like, everything's got to be a thing. It's like, here's the NBA, we're fighting justice. Like, how are you fighting justice? We're giving black people a voice. Okay, well, Kyrie Irving wants to say something. Oh, well, not Kyrie Irving, not black people who disagree with us. That's anti-Semitic, but just black people who push anti-white activism, not black people who question Jewish people. That's crazy. It's like, okay, well then you're not giving black people a voice. You're basically telling black athletes to do left-wing things, and if they do that, then you reward them. If they in any way, shape, or form break the echo chamber of like left-wing activism, then you suspend them. If they say no homo, you suspend them. If they post black Hebrew Israelite links, you suspend them. Clearly, I'm not a black Hebrew Israelite for the record. It's just like, what's worse, sharing an Amazon link or, doing fake activism all of 2020, like psyoping people into thinking lockdowns are okay. I think that's a little bit worse. I don't know. I think that's way worse, actually. I think that's way worse than sharing a black Hebrew Israelite link is psyoping an entire country into thinking that their own enslavement and demise is actually like activism. That's really bad what the NBA did. It's really evil, but no one cares because they hide it behind racial activism and false accusations of hate speech. Angsty much? Yeah, a little angsty. I'm a millennial. Sometimes I say stuff about boomers and people get mad. I'm an angsty millennial. What can I say? Leave me alone. I just want to watch Linkin Park. Come out, do your homework. I don't want to. I just want to listen to Fred Durst, Limp Bizkit. Yeah, I'm an angsty millennial. Get over it. Boomers left me to the liberals. What can I say? You know, instead of raising me, boomers were too busy watching Sean Hannity, fake moon landing stuff. And, you know, now they're just like, what happened to these millennials? I don't know. They listen to degenerate rap music. And then they got angsty. And then they started YouTube accounts. What can I say? I'm just kidding. But I don't know. April said I'm a well-adjusted and logical Gen Xer. No one ever complains about Gen X. It's always like millennials, Gen Z, boomers. You know, Gen X somehow just slipped under the radar. No one really criticizes you that much. So you should lay low. Someone said emo. I stand corrected. I have emo in me for sure. You know, I used to like My Chemical Romance. Helena. When I was a young boy. You know, no, I'm just kidding. But that's for those who know My Chemical Romance, it's a song. Get over it. Someone said you're on a roll. I'm having a blast today. I mean, I know some parts were a little intense, but I think it was hilarious. But I don't know. Sent me into the city to see a marching band. He said, son, when you grow up, a phantom. I'm a little bit emo. I definitely have it in me. You throw on My Chemical Romance. I never painted my nails and face and stuff, but I definitely like the music. I was like, this kind of slaps though. To join the Black Parade. And I was like, yeah, this is it. Someone said I'm a Gen X, a daywalker, and a transgenerational. Oh, you're trans? That's cool. Transgenerational. Congrats. Thank you, Brandon. Someone said because most men have their tails tucked between their tails tucked. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of like an angsty millennial where if you tell me not to say something, I want to say it more. It's like, don't touch that. I want to touch it. So when people are like, stop talking about what the Republicans are doing, like, you don't believe that. You want me to talk about Republican stuff, just like basic stuff. You want me to be like, Mitch McConnell sucks. And it's like, everyone knows Mitch McConnell sucks. I don't need to make a channel. I have no value. If I can't at least be funny or interesting or say something new, then there's no point of me. I mean, yeah, for my own self-interest, yeah, haha, Mitch McConnell sucks. But everybody knows that. Every influencer says Mitch McConnell sucks. I don't have to convince you that Mitch McConnell sucks. You know that. Maybe, you know, and he looks kind of like Franklin the Turtle, which just gives me like total 90s vibes, you know? In a way, I like it. But it's like, if Mitch McConnell sucks, then why did Trump hire his wife? No, anomaly. No. That's like my show. It's like, do you guys like Mitch McConnell? No. Do you guys like Mitch McConnell's wife? No. They're corrupt. Do you think people should hire Mitch McConnell's wife? No, that's corruption. Well, Donald Trump hired her and let her lead the transportation secretary for 4 years. Wait, what? He did? Oh, no. Wait, no. Oh, anomaly, no. Don't tell me that. What are you, a liberal? You're a libtard? Oh, my God. Let's just talk about Obama. It's like, that's what people want. They want something basic. It's like, if that's true, then why did he had to. It's like, well, maybe Mitt Romney had to. Maybe Mitt Romney just secretly had to be terrible for the last 10 years. Like, maybe someone, like, could you imagine doing the stuff that people do for Trump? Like, you know, Mitch McConnell, he has to do it. Like, okay, then what's the point of talking then? If he just has to do it, why even pay attention? I don't get it. Did we have any train explosions? I'm sure there were a bunch, but the media probably didn't cover it. And also this idea that like someone comes in for a year and all of a sudden they're responsible for the train tracks for the last 30 years. It's just not true. Pete Buttigieg is incompetent. He's a loser. He doesn't deserve the job. But this is how easy it is to like scam people. It's like 4 years of Mitch McConnell's wife. It's like, whatever. 2 years of like Pete Buttigieg. It's like, oh, everything that's ever happened in infrastructure history is Pete Buttigieg's fault. And if Mitch McConnell's wife gets back in there, I'll feel better. It's like, of course you will. It's like, you know, the infrastructure of the train tracks has probably been fading for 40 years and no Democrat or Republican cares about it. They only care about it as much as to point hands at the other side of stuff that they're probably in on. Like, if you think that train track was wrong or the safety of it was wrong, you think that Pete Buttigieg did all that by himself? He probably is just a useless vessel doing nothing. But this idea that if Mitch McConnell's wife was in there and Donald Trump, that wouldn't happen, it probably would have happened at the same exact time. Like, I'm not saying he's good, but it's like, this is like left-wing, like right-wing politics. Like, nobody fixes the infrastructure. America goes to shit. Why haven't they rebuilt airports? How come when, Republicans, where's all this infrastructure that they always talk about? They don't give a crap, just like the Democrats don't give a crap. Republicans are slightly better on certain issues, but like, this is how basic most Americans are. It's like, oh, Pete Buttigieg. Who was there before? No one knows. Mitch McConnell's wife. Well, she did a better job because no trains exploded. Actually, probably hundreds or thousands of trains derailed, and no one cared. Why did no one care? Because there was no, I guess, massive spill in a city that someone cares about. But they've probably spilled a lot of stuff. Just no one cared. Whatever. Let's see. Thank you, Alyssa, or Medusoid, or whatever your name is. Appreciate it. Someone said Newark Airport just got a new terminal. That's cool. I've been to Newark Airport a few times, more than a few times. It's pretty dirty, honestly. I mean, it's nice and new. Like, everything's new in it, but it's dirty. They don't even clean it. So what's the point of putting all this new technology and screens if it's gross? Like, clean Newark Airport. It's disgusting. But the computers are new. You fly to like another country or Canada, it looks like you're in Lord of the Rings. Like, I remember flying to Canada. The best airport I've ever been to was in Canada. That's sad. I have never been overseas. I'm sure they're nicer, but the Canadian airport looked like the Lord of the Rings. I was like, what? This is a thing? I guess it's a thing if you actually care somewhat about your country. I don't know. Yeah, thousands of train derailments a year. It's fine. All right, I'll read a few more and I'm going to take off. Thank you guys for listening. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. The stories were the stories of the day. I guess I don't know. I exist on social media and I read all this stuff and I'm just seeing I'm like, all these takes are so basic. Oh yeah, the last story, which I forgot to get to, it's a little late, but I'll get to it. So this is before he endorsed DeSantis, by the way, because I'm not endorsing anybody, but in general, out of everybody that worked with Trump, besides Peter Navarro, who's had some moments, I always liked Steve Cortez because I followed him. He says real stuff. I was like interested in Steve Cortez because I was like, this guy seems like he gets it. This guy doesn't seem like an NPC. He's not just like a yes man. So I was thinking to myself, for someone who's so tight with Trump, which Steve Cortez was, I was like, how does he justify all this stuff? Like, I'm just curious of what he's going to do. And he came out today and he wrote a whole op-ed and said that he's endorsing Ron DeSantis, right? People in MAGA are pissed because they think that you owe your loyalty forever to Donald Trump, even though he sells vaccines harder than Bill Gates and has Democrat boomer talking points about Florida. You owe your entire loyalty to him. So I commented on like Raheem Kasham, or I don't know, some sort of right-wing journalist. He was like, oh my gosh, he's so unloyal. How dare you? And everyone's like freaking out at Steve Cortez because he endorsed DeSantis. And then I said something along the lines of like, Trump hired pharmacy lobbyists and Mitch McConnell's wife, but like, I guess no one cares and they just need to grovel at the vaccine salesman's feet. And he blocked me. And I don't care. I block people too. You're allowed to block people. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's like, this is like the average like MAGA journalist now. It's like, you owe your loyalty. And it's like, well, does Trump owe loyalty to his base or no? Are we like, just like you're allowed to call out Steve Cortez for disagreeing with Trump or not kissing the ring, does he owe us anything as voters or no? Like our loyalty is owed to him no matter what he does, and we're not ever allowed to try to correct him. And then it's like I say two things that I disagree with, and then he blocks me. It's like, oh no, what type of psychotic religious cult has this become? I'm not saying you can't disagree with me or block me. I don't care. It's just like I don't understand. Like, what is this? We owe our permanent loyalty to an 80-year-old vaccine salesman who hires terribly and takes no accountability for it. That's the movement. And if you ever endorse someone else or disagree for valid reasons, you're done. But he's not done when he does stuff. He could do this or this, but you just have to like it. Bow down. It's very weird. May I, because I care, suggest you go for a good run, breath of fresh air. Give your mind and body a timeout. Well, I want to let you guys know this. Thank you. I appreciate you, Donna. I walk miles a week. I play sports and stuff, but I will definitely get outside today. I've been working really hard these past couple weeks. I'm going to take a break and write my book. Basically take a vacation, but kind of like a work vacation to finish 2 things that I've been not finishing for a long time. So I'm going to get a good break soon. Don't worry. Joni said, God bless you, Anomaly. Thanks for the news and the last. Much needed today. Love and respect. Stay golden. Moral compass points to the truth. Forget the haters. They are just perishing. It's all good. I mean, I know I get annoyed sometimes. I'm aware of it. Thank you so much. I know that I'm hilarious sometimes. But also, I do know that it's working. I've seen so many comments that said, Anomaly, I was pissed at you. And then I came back because I realized what you're saying is true. Or like, Anomaly, you woke me up. I know it's having an effect. And the message is simple. Besides just taking care of yourself and doing your own thing, the message is that Trump needs to be challenged. I don't necessarily think he needs to lose, but he needs to be challenged. And the amount of right-wing journalists that are saying everyone else should drop out challenging Trump in this election is basically dividing the party. Dude, the movement has been filled with like cultist psychopaths. So you don't want me to criticize the socialist vaccine scam that Republicans passed. It's not capitalist, it's socialism. And now you're basically saying that a free market of competition is bad and it's divisive and everyone just needs to get out of the way for this guy who's taken no accountability for socialism. I consider this a socialist movement now. Joe said do more signed hats. I have signed hats available on dreamrare.com. If you want one, there's a couple left. So they're still there. You just got to get them. I have a few signed hats left. Thank you. It's just insane to me. Like if someone said, hey, I'm going to vote for Trump, but I get what you're saying. It's like, sure. But it's like, get out of the way and let him win. How dare you challenge him or ask him questions or run against him? Like that's insane. It's absolutely insane. Someone said, even if you are for Trump, having him fight it out will give you better perspective. But here's the thing. Trump hasn't been challenged in years by actual people. Anytime he's been challenged in the last 3 years, he looks like an idiot because he's lying. Candace Owens challenged him on a scale of 1 to 10. Candace probably challenged him like a 2. And he couldn't handle it. He can't handle it. He can't handle a debate with DeSantis or Larry Elder. He's going to look like an idiot because he's not the same Trump he used to be. I don't think he can handle a real interview. If any right-wing influencer who eats steaks at Mar-a-Lago and has sold their soul, if they give Trump a real interview and ask Trump about his connections to Bill Gates, or ask Trump if he tried to hire Bill Gates, or ask Trump why he did Bill Gates' suggestion through executive order in 2019, and ask Trump why he's pathologically lying about the vaccine data, if any right-wing influencer ever did that, they would be scorned from the cult that is now the worship of Trump. You're not allowed to interview him. You're not allowed to ask him tough questions. You're not allowed to push back. You're not allowed to challenge him. There's dozens of journalists and operatives now that are saying that you shouldn't even run against him. This is becoming part and parcel in MAGA world conservative media that DeSantis shouldn't run, no one else should run, everyone should drop out, and he should just win. That's what they're really saying. They're saying even simply trying to challenge him is unloyal and it's going to divide the party. Like this is getting really weird. So that's why it's so interesting to me. Like this is interesting. This is what I want to talk about. This is what I feel inspired to push back on. Not just basic commentary on stuff that everyone else is saying. I'm bored by it. I'm not only bored, I'm just not inspired by it. I'm inspired to fight against the attempt to take away any sort of competition in our party and create basically a socialist party. I mean, the Republican Party, in my opinion, is a socialist party. 2020 was socialist. They haven't made any excuses for it. And you could look at some policies of the Trump administration and you could argue that they're communist. Trump gave the power to the CDC to strong-arm landlords. That's beyond socialism and I'm not saying he can't run or win, But I'm not a socialist or a communist. I don't agree with those policies. I have to agree and I can't challenge them and everyone has to get out of his way. Then this is a communist movement. They just put a MAGA hat on Karl Marx and people fell for it hook, line, and sinker. It doesn't make sense. And people think I'm being too harsh, like it never happened. Just because you tricked yourself into thinking that it didn't happen didn't mean it didn't happen. 2020 happened. Both parties were in on it. Everything that the Democrats did to you, the Republicans gave them the money for. All of the abuse that you took from Big Pharma and the Democrats was signed off on by Republicans. You think if you give $18 billion or even more, I think they gave, when it's all said and done, between all the doses they bought, they gave tens of billions of dollars to Big Pharma. If Big Pharma gets that money from Republicans, you think they're not going to use it against you? What do you think Big Pharma is going to do with $20 to $30 million that the Trump administration gives them? You think they're going to build a bunch of parks and let your kids play in it? No, they're going to treat you like shit and they're going to fund themselves and they're going to basically hold you for ransom. That's what they do. That's what they did. Oh, but it wasn't the right. Says who? Says the pathological liar, operative, Mar-a-Lago, steak-eating, rhino loser, new generation of sellout, soulless demons that parade around as Christians and patriots who tell you that it never happened. It absolutely happened. And it was bipartisan. And it's never going to change until people address that. And the fact that people are trying to brush over this issue, anomaly is the only problem you have the vaccine. No. You think this is just about a vaccine? I mean, that was egregious, but 2020 wasn't just about a vaccine. I mean, all this other scamming stuff, I think, was leading people to the vaccine, but that was the most socialist, communist, abusive, tyrannical, insane, demonic year I've ever seen in my life, and Trump and Republicans were in on 9 out of 10 of the scams. And you want to just act like that's a small issue because you don't like Joe Biden? That's a small issue because Donald Trump cries all the time? That's a small issue because of Alvin Bragg? Really? Then I'm not living in the same reality that you're living in. I don't live in this fake world. It's like Comic-Con for people who watch Trump too much. I don't subscribe to that false reality that he's trying to paint. And just like every propagandist on the left, the way they do it is by repeating. If he says Karl Rove 1,000 times and you say Karl Rove, it doesn't change the fact that Karl Rove worked with his advisors on his 2020 campaign. If you say Paul Ryan 50 times because Trump says Paul Ryan 50 times, it doesn't change the fact that after Paul Ryan was out of office, not before, after, Trump tweeted out that he did a great job and that everybody's with him all the way. Doesn't change that stuff. Doesn't matter how many times he says it and you repeat it. It's become a robotic movement. Well, he said that. Well, he lied to you. Just like he lied about the vaccine. Just like he lied about not taking other people's money. And this is another project I've been working on. I finally recorded the audio today for my mini documentary / video called The Vaccine Salesman, where I'm going to document and disprove all the lies that people are telling because they don't want to look at the truth. You know, and I won't even call them lies, but I would say misjudgments where a lot of people, including in my interview with Candace, if you rewatch it, Candace said, oh, I think he just doesn't know, and I think he got tricked, or, you know, he's just older, or whatever, you know, this angle that she says and a lot of people say. And I said, well, Candace, I understand that you like Trump and she's really nice to him and she believes in him. So, or at least believes in certain aspects of him. And so she wants to believe that like, he just like doesn't know about vaccines, but it's actually not true because before he got into office, he used to talk about vaccine injuries. He met with RFK and was going to hire RFK. And he only turned his back on RFK when he took a pharmacy donation and then hired a bunch of pharmacy lobbyists. So all of that evidence and information and truth kind of overshadows this idea that Trump just doesn't know. Like he does know. He got lobbied. He did sell out. People just don't want to believe it. So I'm making a whole thing just to point these things out. People can get mad. People can get upset. But I'm doing it anyway. Someone said you would let Gropin Joe sniff you. I would not let him, but he'd probably try to anyway because I don't think Joe Biden waits for people to tell who to sniff. He just starts sniffing. With that being said, it's like that's all someone can say because when you're caught in a false paradigm, it's like if you challenge the fact that their leaders are also in on it, it's like, well, I just got to say Joe Biden because that's all I know. It's like, well, we got to be fighting Biden because that's why. It's whatever, though. It's funny, but someone said, haha, they have everyone picturing nubile young, scantily clad beauties. And I don't know what you're talking about, but anyway. Someone said, TY, they did it and it's not over. There's more coming. For sure. I'm glad RFK is running because, to be honest, this is my opinion, honest opinion. I'm not just saying this. I'm not lobbied by anybody. I'm not even deciding my vote right now. My vote is still up for grabs depending on who earns it. But RFK is running an authentic campaign. He's still a Democrat. I don't think you should trust everything he does. I think you should question him. But when RFK gets questioned, he answers honestly. When DeSantis gets questioned, he answers honestly. When Trump gets questioned, he pathologically lies. He lies about Florida. He lies about Democrats doing a good job. He lies about why Florida is the way it is. He lies about the vaccine. Trump is a bigger liar than DeSantis and RFK. I'm not glad about this. I want to like Trump more than RFK and DeSantis because I think Trump at his best is better than RFK and DeSantis. He was president. I want Trump to be authentic like he was in 2017. I want Trump to tell the truth like he does in 2018. He just doesn't anymore. He's the least authentic candidate out of those two. Trump's more authentic than Nikki Haley. Trump's more authentic than Joe Biden. But when it comes to RFK and DeSantis, the reason so many people are starting to like them, watch an interview. RFK is 20 times as authentic and transparent as Trump is. DeSantis is way better at pivoting and answering questions. Yeah, he's a little fake with like his movements and his talking, but if you listen to what he says, he makes more sense. It's just true. I wish it wasn't true. I'm not trying to watch a Trump interview and watch him lie. I'm not stupid. He thinks I'm stupid. He thinks his base is stupid. Like Trump's like, I'm just going to lie about this and people will make excuses for it. And he's right. He's like, people do make excuses for it. So it's just interesting. Someone said at his worst, he's better than other choices. We'll see. It'll all play out. But I guess if the country can last with 4 years of Biden, then 4 more years of Trump will be fine. It's just, I don't know. Who knows what's next? Can't get much worse than it is right now with Joe and Democrats. So I'm not really like tripping that much about it. To me, I just don't think Trump wins the general election. I don't think he's even interested in running a campaign that appeals to people. I don't. I really just don't. I think it's easy to beat Joe Biden. I think you just got to be authentic. I just think you got to push through narratives, and I think you got to reach out to people. I think so many people hate Donald Trump, and he's even turning off people that used to like him because he's so annoying and fake now. So I see the only person who could lose to Biden is Trump. And if Trump loses, he's never going to take accountability. He's just going to say that he had no chance. It's like, if you had no chance, then why'd you even run? If you thought it was going to be, why didn't you do something about it? What's the point of going through this whole circus if you don't even believe in it? He did, you get what I'm saying? I think DeSantis or someone else beats Biden by 10 to 15 points. We'll see. But I just feel like there's so many winnable angles. Like if you just, and I'm not saying to be a politician, but like the kid stuff is crazy. The border is crazy. What's going on in Democrat cities is crazy. The Biden travel mandate is crazy. There's so many angles that are such winnable topics. And, blazing a trail of technology and just having a message that actually resonates with like younger people, it's not that hard to do. I mean, I guess it's hard for an 80-year-old who's just a pathological vaccine liar, but for like a person that didn't sell their soul to Big Pharma and hire a bunch of swampers, it's actually easy. But people don't want the easy route. Republicans love losing. They love playing the victim. And they love rehashing an 80-year-old vaccine tale. And it's like, if they lose to Biden, they're going to cry about it. They're never going to admit that it wasn't a good candidate. They're never going to admit that his campaign was trash. Like, think about a campaign. Like, who is Trump trying to win with like a meatball run? Like, what independent voter is going to look at that and be like, you know what? I didn't think Trump was good, but now that he called Ron DeSantis a meatball who did a bad job with COVID in Florida, now I'm going to vote for him. It's like no one likes this stuff. Even his own, it's like he's got to like trick his own base into thinking that's cool. Like it's goofy. Just make a video that says I'm better at foreign policy. Here's why I'm better. Makes sense. It's like, here's a lie about my guy that I don't like, so I'm going to say that it doesn't even matter. It's just warm. It's just warm in Florida. That's why the politics are good. It's just hot and there's beaches. It's like, but Trump, what about California? California is also warm and has beaches, and the politics are a disaster. Don't question me. You remind me of Thomas Massey. That's who he is. He just, like, that's his campaign, telling me that Florida, it's fine because of the beaches. But Trump, you know that California's politics disprove your whole logic about that, right? How dare you get me one of my operatives who tells me that this is a smart thing to say. It's a smart thing to say. Now I'm going to go on CNN. I'm going to give them ratings. They're new and vibrant. Guys. CNN's new and vibrant. They cut me a deal. I cut a deal with CNN. I'm fighting the deep state by keeping CNN afloat and cutting a new deal with them. I did a deal with CNN. They're new. They're vibrant. It might be great, Patriots. This is how we fight the deep state, by cutting deals with CNN. Okay? Wait, what? Anomaly? How dare you? How dare you not like cutting deals with CNN? That's how we fight the deep state, by cutting CNN deals and, you know, selling vaccines and doing socialism. That's how we fight off the deep state. Someone said, dude, get off SSRIs. Well, actually, the whole reason I'm able to see through this is because I'm not on drugs or SSRIs. So I'm not on pharmacy drugs. I don't accept money from Big Pharma, and I don't sell Big Pharma products. So unlike Donald Trump, who took $1 million from Pfizer, unlike Donald Trump, who hired pharmacy lobbyists to run FDA and HHS, unlike Donald Trump, who shamelessly runs around the country trying to scam patriots into getting the Trump vaccine, in which he got lobbied by Big Pharma, I'm not on pharmacy drugs and I don't work for Big Pharma. You're thinking of Donald Trump, the guy who sold out his entire base to Big Pharma and is now desperately trying to keep CNN afloat because they cut him a deal. That's who you're thinking of, not me. I don't sell that stuff. But your guy does. But you don't want to admit that, right? Or you don't want to look at that, right? No, it's my fault. I must be on drugs because I'm not on drugs. I must be working with Big Pharma stuff because your guy works with Big Pharma. Do you believe yourself? Does anyone believe themselves anymore? I'm wondering. Because I don't know what it's like. I ask people, like, even people that I talk about sometimes, they still post my stuff. They still like me because they know I'm telling the truth. A lot of these people that are eating steaks at Mar-a-Lago's, they know I'm the real deal. I think in their soul, they wish they could tell the truth like me. They're like, damn it, Anomaly talks a lot of shit, but low-key, he's completely right, and I did sell out. But it's best for me and my family to sell out, so I'm going to... They still like me, you know? Not everybody. Obviously, some people don't, but, like, you know? They're like, he's not wrong. I mean, it makes me mad, but he's not wrong. But I'm angry. But low-key, it's true. Am I saying he sold out for just $1 million? Well, he took hundreds of millions of dollars. So he took over $100 million from corporations. He took over $100 million from mega donor Sheldon Adelson. So it adds up. And if this tired narrative, I'm going to make a whole mini doc about it, but this tired narrative of, oh, he doesn't need it. Well, then why did he take it? He wants it. He needs it. He needs hundreds of millions of dollars that he doesn't want to spend of your money or his own money. So it all adds up. Yes, he sold out for hundreds of millions of dollars. Pfizer gave him $1 million, and then he hired a pharmacy lobbyist. So he doesn't need the money. He just takes it. I mean, so why do you think he hired a bunch of swampers? Do you think he just did it? Do you think Trump's a swamper? He just hires them? Why do you think he did it? Why do you... He didn't sell out? No? People are so stupid. The Republican leadership treats their base like they're stupid because people act stupid. And I'm not saying this because I think people are stupid. I don't. I'm just trying to challenge people. It's like Democrats stomp all over their base because their base acts like doormats. Trump stomps all over his base because they act like doormats. You think $1 million could sway his vote? He doesn't need that. Well, then why did he take it, though? Because he wants the money. He took hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions. But yeah, there's a campaign rule. They limit certain corporations from only donating $1 million to certain inauguration stuff. So that's all they could donate. The same way Pfizer donated $1 million to the Kentucky Republicans, and they're building a facility because you're not even really allowed to do that. So they found a workaround, and now they're building a facility in Kentucky for Kentucky Republicans. Well, there's $2 million. And when you start looking at all the stuff that all the mega corporations that are working together doing, it starts adding up to tens of millions of dollars and hundreds of millions of dollars. So he donated every paycheck. Well, that's beautiful. He still took hundreds of millions of dollars from mega donors that he said would turn Rubio into a perfect little puppet. Do you care? If you don't, I'm going to call you doormat. And I'm not trying to be a dick, but it's doormat activity. He said that Sheldon Adelson would turn Marco Rubio into a perfect little puppet. And then Trump took hundreds of millions of dollars from Sheldon Adelson. Oh, who cares? He donated his salary and then took hundreds of millions of dollars in donations. Okay. So you don't care that he ran on the policy of, I won't sell out. I'll never take their money. I don't want donors and I don't want corporation people to give me millions of dollars. And then he took hundreds of millions of dollars. On the campaign trail, I saw a video recently where he said, some guy who works for a corporation was going to give me $5 million and I didn't want it. I don't take it because I don't want to be controlled. Well, Google Trump taking money from a Disney executive of $10 million. So on the campaign trail, he didn't want $5 million because he knew it would control him. After the campaign, after he scammed his doormat base, then he took $10 million, $1 million, $100 million, $200 million, and no one cares. That's how weak Republicans are. They don't care. Keep scamming your base, Daddy Trump. They don't care. They love it. Walk all over them. They'll say it's a Thai massage. Walk on their back. They're like, ow, oh, thank you. Ow, this hurts. Ow, this feels good. Trust the plan. Make America doormats again. I mean, I don't care that he told me he'd never take the money and he took the money. Ow, I love it. Okay. It's the left. The left's stepping on me. Ow, it's not my own guy. Ow. Joe Soros. It's like, no, not your guy at all. No, he didn't do any of that. It feels so, ow, it feels so good. Ow. Socialism sucks. Wait, your guy just did socialism. No, he didn't. No, it was a lot. It's like, okay, like what type of movement is this? It's crazy. And the thing is, the truth is the truth. So more people than people realize are waking up to this. It's like at a certain point, critical thinking isn't just a t-shirt. It's like critical thinking skills. It's like it takes more than a t-shirt to have critical thinking skills. You actually have to think. Being a critical thinker doesn't mean you change from team blue to team red and then you become programmable the same way you just were programmable. That's not critical thinking. People don't realize this. So many people are like, I was a liberal and then I became a conservative. And it's like they're the same sleazy sellouts that they were on the left. Now they just are on the right. I'm a critical thinker now that I am team red. No, you're not. It's not, it takes more, are you? Maybe, but if you're not willing to challenge your own thoughts, then you're not a critical thinker. Someone said, stop, so annoying, just say what you mean. I told people what I mean. I think that Democrat cities are failing because the Democrats who live there and vote love failing cities. They love decay, they love degeneracy, they love failure, so they're reveling in their own filth in major Democrat cities. I think Republicans love to get scammed. They just don't care. They love it. They want it. As long as you lie to them, they want to be lied to. They want to be lied to into war. They want to be lied to into lockdowns and vaccine scams. As long as you just tell them the left did it, they'll believe it, even though the right's in on 9 out of 10 things. So that's what I believe. Am I being clear enough? I think Republicans constantly come up short because they like getting scammed. And when you tell them to stop getting scammed, they'll be like, this isn't Islam. I mean, we can't actually stand up. That's why Islam is growing, because a lot of people are so pathetic, are so tired of the pathetic people in Christian countries that they're converting to Islam. I'm still a Christian. I believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and I'm a Christian. But I see why Islam's growing, because Christian countries are pathetic. They can't do anything. They can't uphold the Bible. They literally do nothing. And then when you tell them to actually stand up for themselves, they're like, what do you think this is Islam? What do you think, that white people in America actually have a spine? I mean, if you actually want things that are in the Bible, then go to Islam. It's like, this is an icebreaker. Reagan was an icebreaker and Trump was an icebreaker. It's not an icebreaker if 30 years later you still need to break the ice. What it is you're pathetic, you're weak, you get walked all over by actors, and you don't want to admit it, so you just keep getting scammed. That's what it is. You're just easy to walk all over. And when someone actually wants to not get walked all over in an American Christian country, you call them Islamic because you identify people that actually do what they believe as Islam. Why are so many people converting to Islam? Because you're pathetic. You're chasing them away from the Lord. It's like, it's so weak. Like, why? You think people that are conservative want to sit around listening to people make excuses for communism? It's like, do you have any plans to stop the slippery slope? No. I'm just going to complain about it. It's like, well, that's why a lot of people are converting to Islam, because they look at white countries, they look at Christian countries, they look at conservatives in these countries, and they think, ew, disgusting, weak, pathetic, because most people are. So then they're like, how do I actually get the values that Christians and conservatives pretend to believe in? And then they're like, oh, this religion actually semi-does it somewhat, and they're not completely pathetic. That's the truth. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying it. I'm just telling you, have some self-awareness to why that's going on. There's a lot of people, Tate, Sneeko, they're going full Islam. Because Islam allows you to be like, no, I don't agree with LGBTQ, and if you come to our country, we're not going to just embrace it completely. Although Islam's starting to fall apart too, just like Christianity. Saudi Arabia is starting to embrace it, and they're going to turn into San Francisco in 20 years as well. But you get what I'm saying? It's just like, I semi not really apologize for somewhat of my attitude, but I'm tired of like the patheticness in conservative culture. It's just straight pathetic. It's pathetic. It's like, believe in what you say you believe in. I don't want to. That hurts my feelings. Talk about Obama. Pathetic. You disagree with socialism, right? Yeah. Well, your party did it. Okay. I can prove it. I don't want to hear it. Well, then you're pathetic. Stop getting walked all over like a doormat. I don't want to. Then you're pathetic. This movement's pathetic. It's completely pathetic. Don't want to hear it? I don't care. It's what I think. But I don't want to hear that. I just want to blame the left. That's pathetic. But Trump tells me what I want to hear. I'm sure he does. It's pathetic. I was just blown away by the guy telling me, like, he's an icebreaker. Reagan's an icebreaker, and Trump was an icebreaker. That goes against what icebreaker means. You don't re-break the ice 30 years later. It's like, if the ice is broken, then you're supposed to actually get results. You're not supposed to end up backwards with a new icebreaker. And that guy doesn't realize that? Of course he doesn't. He's a classic Republican. Just like, that's what we do. We just lose in slow motion and don't want to talk about it. We just look at the other side that our side's working with, and we don't acknowledge that it's happening. We just worship these people more than we worship our Lord, because that's our new religion, is, slobbering over a 80-year-old vaccine salesman who tells me things that aren't true, but I want them to believe that they're true. And if he just accuses DeSantis of things that he's also doing enough, then I'll have a meatball sub by the time dinner comes. It's like, okay, I don't understand it. I just don't understand where it's going. Someone said your office won't protect you from what's coming. I don't know if you're talking about me and my office or the office of the White House, but yeah, I don't know. I think that people just need to toughen up and call out their side. Is that really that crazy? I feel like I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I feel like it's just like, believe what you pretend to believe in, and when someone in your side doesn't do it, it's okay to like challenge them. Is that really is what I'm saying that crazy? Someone said Trump is the only one with balls to get our country back on track. He talks like it, but I don't think he acts on it. But if you want to believe he will, I guess, like, reality doesn't matter to you or anything. Just you want that to happen. Someone said means no holy heroes coming from any office. Exactly, Emilio. Appreciate you. It's so crazy. I talked to some of my friends about this, and I don't want to stay for too long, but it is like a little rant. It's like I feel like I wish what I was saying was way crazier so I could feel so special. I don't feel that special. I really wish I did. I wish I loved myself and had the big ego you think I have. I really don't. I'm more like sad that this is so hard for people because I'm like, this isn't crazy. There's certain sports I play I'm good at, and I feel like I'm impressive. What I'm doing here is just not that impressive. What I'm telling Republicans to do is just believe what they pretend to believe in and call out even the vaccine guy, just like they call out the DeSantis guy. You can't do that. That's such a revolutionary thought. We need no competition. We need to make excuses for it. We just need to say he's got like, what? After what happened? People don't want to talk about, oh, well, it's just a vaccine. That's what you think about 2020? All of that was just a vaccine? No, it wasn't. It was the most communist, tyrannical thing ever, and Trump's unapologetic for it. Well, it was just the left. No, it wasn't. It was not just the left. Well, they did this. Who funded them? Who gave them all the money with socialism? Your side of the party. Admit it. Republicans were in on 2020. Yes, they were. I wish sometime it was someone else as president, so then people would agree with me. If Mitt Romney was the president in 2020, everyone would agree with me. But because it's their Lord and Savior, Donald Trump, it's like, don't say his name. I don't want to hear his name in vain. Of course you don't. You let somebody talk down on Jesus before you let him talk down on Trump. It's a religion for these people. I wish it was DeSantis as president so I could say the same things I'm saying now and everyone would agree with me. If DeSantis was president in 2020 and I said everything I'm saying now, people would agree. If Mitch McConnell was president and I said everything that I'm saying now, everyone would agree. If Mitt Romney or John McCain were president or Hillary Clinton was president and I said everything that I'm saying now, everyone would agree. The only reason they don't agree because their Lord and Savior was president, so now they see it as some sort of hate speech that they don't want to hear because it hurts their feelings. Well, boo-hoo. What a weak, pathetic movement this is. This was not a small issue, and it wasn't just a vaccine, and none of this was capitalist, and all of it should be addressed. And if you think it shouldn't, I don't live in that world. And that world that I live in is going to grow with people who see through it. Because the more time goes on, the more this is going to be obvious. I was one of the earliest people that talked about this stuff. And at first, it was very hard to do. Which is insane because, once again, it wasn't that crazy. It's just I was listening to interviews as somebody who likes Donald Trump. And I just kept hearing him lie about the vaccine. And I'm like, yo, this rhetoric is crazy. Like, he's saying it saved 100 million lives. Like, if I talked to, like, David Harris or something, you know, and I said, hey, David, I like David Harris. If I said, hey, David Harris, say Trump wasn't there. I said, David, what do you think of the vaccine? Oh, I don't like it. I think it was terrible. Do you think the vaccine saved 100 million lives? Well, no, I don't. Of course not. Okay, now let's come back to this reality. And I say to David Harris, Trump said the vaccine saved 100 million lives. Do you agree with that? Oh, well, I have to make excuses for it because, yeah, I know you do. Because, like, that's just what you got to do now, right? I was the only one who came out and said something because I'm like, listen, even before I didn't, care about, I was like, Trump is just lying about the vaccine. I don't, why is that so crazy to say? I do news analysis. Trump's on TV saying it saved 100 million lives. No one believes that. Now you got a bunch of influencers pathologically lying and making excuses for him to defend a statement that they don't actually believe because they like the guy more than they like what they believe. This has become a satanic religion. Don't tell me about Christianity and Jesus and you can't tell the truth because of Jesus. Jesus didn't tell you to lie for Big Pharma because Donald Trump did it. I'm sorry. That's Satan. Someone said it's not even a vaccine. Yes, it's synthetic mRNA injections that you got to get all the time and whatever you want to call it, gene therapy. And at first it's like I was sticking out like a sore thumb because it's like, wait, you're all just going to let this slide? If Fauci said it, it'd be on all your Instagrams. If DeSantis said it, it would be on all your Instagrams. If Mitch McConnell said it, it'd be on all your Instagrams. Donald Trump says it and it's on your Instagram. Look at the connection of the people who won't tell the truth about him and the people who eat steaks at Mar-a-Lago. It's a Venn diagram. These people have been bought out. They've been lobbied socially, and they're the new rhinos. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just tired of this bullshit. Excuse my language. Bunch of phonies. that's my thoughts. Let me know yours. Appreciate you guys. God bless. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Long story short, we're making a lot of leeway. What was so crazy a year and a half ago, it's all going to come true. If Trump goes on CNN tomorrow, which he will, or Wednesday, or tomorrow is Wednesday. If Trump goes on CNN and starts overselling the vaccine, everyone's going to see it. If Trump, after CNN gives him a fair town hall, if they do that, and Trump starts bragging about CNN, we'll see what happens. I don't want to predict the future, but it's like what I'm saying is going to age like fine wine, whether people want to admit it or not. I don't care. Find somebody that cries about what I said that can match some of the predictions I had before the pandemic for all the tyranny that's coming. You can't, because all those people are such non-critical thinkers and non-intellects. They're essentially just team player, bobblehead wannabe politicians that they were all acting like it was going to lock down to save the world and we're going to fight the bad guys in the Vatican. Like, that's what they were all saying. So my tweets age like fine wine. Their tweets age like shit every time. I don't care what people think now. I don't care what the backlash is. If what I'm saying is true, people are going to start to see it over the next year. A lot of people already do. It's blatantly obvious. I don't even feel like that proud of it because I didn't invent it or create it. It's just the truth. Anybody can see it. There's a lot of people starting to say it now, and we'll see what happens. It's May 9th. We have over a year before, a year and a half before the next election. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. It's going to become more and more and more obvious, and we're at a fork in the road for what we want in this country and how we're going to challenge our party. We will see what happens, but that's my take. Appreciate even the people that were mad at me today. Some parts of this, in my opinion, were very, very funny. So hopefully people got a laugh out of that. Hopefully it wasn't too intense. God bless you. Appreciate you, guy. And to the guy asking about signed hats, I definitely still have them on the website. You just got to like scroll down probably. Thank you, guys. God bless. I'll be back soon with a lighter video about something, but I wanted to cover that today. Hey, what's going on, my friends? Just a few ways to stay in touch and support if you'd like to. The first way is dreamrare.com. We have blue beanies, black beanies, pink hats, other colored hats, freedom versus tyranny shirts, stay blessed long sleeve, God is great long sleeve, and lots of more cool items coming soon. Dreamrare.com. Check out the shop to support. Everything's made in the United States. Handpicked by me. Patreon.com/raretalk. For $5 a month, you can help support me, support the show. If you haven't noticed, unlike other channels, I don't work with very many sponsors, sometimes none at all. And part of the way I'm able to do that is with the dreamrare.com shop and patreon.com/raretalk. So thank you guys for keeping this show free, unimpeded, uninterrupted. I'm forever grateful. My free email list is stayintouchwithme.com. So check the links below in the description or just type in on any browser, stayintouchwithme.com, all one word. You'll find my email list, put it in there, and it's the least annoying email list you'll ever be on. I barely use it because I don't like getting emailed every day or every week. It's annoying. So I don't do it. Stayintouchwithme.com. It helps me take back some power away from big tech. Telegram, t.me/dreamrarechat or @dreamrarechat. Due to censorship, I post all my live stream and videos there. Sometimes I have some bonus content, and I try to give people a heads up when Facebook or YouTube won't. DreamRareChat at Telegram. My Instagram is @DreamRare. Thanks for everybody following there for shorter content. And DreamRareLinks.com. That's DreamRareLinks.com. Has all my stuff. My podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, my music on Spotify and Apple, my Rumble page, my BitChute and Gab page. All my links are found at DreamRareLinks.com. Thanks for watching, folks. God bless you. You already know